What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about, would you rather stop playing a game than lower the difficulty? That's an article we're going to read. We're going to read about Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row at risk of being delisted in adult games debate, it's claimed. We're going to talk about rumors Starfield could be adding highly requested ship feature. We're going to talk about Battlefield 6 servers will use bots if not enough players, which shouldn't be a problem, right? 100 million. And we're also going to talk about EA Entertainment president, Battlefield 6 release date, Sims movie, and multiplayer game update, and a balance of owning IP with Star Wars and Marvel titles. So we'll talk about that as well. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us each and every single day. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Sarge? Crowded house, good morning. Big Bad Mo, Brain Eclipse, Jason Marshall. That made me laugh, Marshall. I saw what you put, Ted DiBiase laugh. I don't know why, man. It brought a chuckle to me when I read it. So thank you very much for that. Who else are we here? I think that's it. All right. Anybody else that comes in? Good morning. Good morning. All right. So let's start with the very first story, okay, which is, would you rather stop playing a game than lower the difficulty? The First Berserker Khazan dev reckons you would. I've always find this, good morning, Robert Jones. I've always find this interesting, right? A lot of people talk about like the Dark Souls type of stuff. I'm always in the group of people that if the developer wants to make a game that's super hard, then that's up to them, right? That the artist gets to make the game. Okay? I'm never on the side of people as far as saying that we don't want an easy mode in a game because if there's an easy mode, like get good type of stuff, right? If the artist wants the game to be hard, then the game is hard. But if they want to put in a difficulty mode, then put a difficulty mode in, okay? Because my mindset is a person wants to push. Like humans want to better themselves for the most part. For the most part, you want to push yourself to something, right? Like if you don't know how to hit a baseball, you're going to sit there, throw the ball up, and swing the bat until you hit and make connection and keep doing it. If you don't know how to throw a football, if you don't know how to cook, you're going to keep doing it, and you're going to keep escalating yourself, right? If you don't know how to write, you're going to do something. If you're playing a game and a boss is just killing you, there's a group of people that will just keep going at it, right, to try to better themselves. Other people will just quit. Also the people in between know if they have an option, okay, like they're playing a Dark Souls game, and they know there's no change of difficulty. They want to quit. They want to put that down and not try to beat the boss. They're like, can I change the difficulty? Can we do something else? They don't want to try to push. But because they're made to push, then they do it, okay? And because they push through it, then they become better at the game, at whatever it is, right? But then there's the people if you put an easy mode in, they know that they're weak, and they will take that out. They will take that out and go, you know what? I'm just going to drop it to a medium level. It's still too hard. I'm going to drop it to an easy level. Hey, I beat it, right? Just to be a part of that social thing where it's like, hey, did you beat that game? Yeah, I beat it, right? When I was younger, right? I would play games on harder difficulty. Now, as I'm older, I don't give a shit, right? I don't give a shit. I don't care if I play it on a hard difficulty, right? If a game like Dark Souls, which I haven't played, right? I don't want to. I have no urge to play a game like that. So I don't do that, right? So I play normal mode. That's what I usually play. Whatever the big, I don't go easy mode. I just go normal mode because the first time I play through something, if I like it, whatever, I play through it. And then if I like it, I'll go back and play on a harder difficulty because I'm like, hey, all right, I played through that. Now let me go up a difficulty, right? So that's how I play now, okay? But I totally understand do the hardest thing. There was no difficulty levels when I was younger, right? When I first started playing gaming and the games were just that hard and you had to push through it and try to beat it and you had to put it down and there was no save button. There was no, you had to leave your Nintendo system on, go to school all day, come back, hopefully mom or dad didn't shut off the the Nintendo. because then you would have to go all the way back to get to that point, which was a pain in the ass, okay? There was no difficulty levels back then. It was just what the designer wanted, how hard they wanted it, or they made it super hard because the game actually was incomplete and they, there was no end to the game, so they had to make it super difficult. So, let's talk about this, right? Would you rather stop playing a game than lower the difficulty? The First Berserker Khazan dev reckons you would. So, are you a sort of player that would also rather drop a game altogether than simply bump up the difficulty or bump the difficulty down? If such an option exists, if so, then you might be better company than you think. At least that what the developer, the First Berserker, has deducted from poring over its player data anyway. Okay, it says people revealed that some interesting information about the behavior of players that picked up its hardcore role-playing playing games since the release in March of 2025. As part of the game, Big June update, okay, Khazan creative director posted a big rundown of thinking behind the game's difficulty, reworked and explained the reason for adding a beginner mode to the game. Now, Whitelist, the update is a couple of weeks old now, and I've seen a statement doing rounds in the Discord messages boards this morning, and it's worth paying attention more broadly. It says, at launch, we set our standard experience as normal and added more accessible options labeled easy, wrote Lee. We figured that the players would find the game too difficult, and they simply switched to easy. But when we looked at the data, we saw that many players just quit the game without ever changing the difficulty. Okay? So that's sort of about what I'm saying, right? There's people that just want to do the best, and if it's too difficult, they're like, they don't try to push themselves, right? But instead of dropping it down to easy, they're like, I'm just going to fucking quit. I'm just done with it. It says, per Lee and team's research, there will be simple reasons for this. He believes that players feel that they'd rather quit with dignity than drop it down to easy. And I see that, right? You're just like, I'm not going to bring myself down to that easy level. I'd rather just not complete the game, okay? So he says it's fascinating study of a player's psychology, okay? He says it's just towards something like Bloodborne or Sirocco. I can't pronounce that. Sirocco? Butchered it. Okay? And launched without the second difficulty mode. Okay, and the conversation is also kicks up every single someone suggests slapping an easy mode in those games. People get very defensive about the ability of master difficulty games like this, and as also a mark of pride. And they can also take it on as, in some cases, extreme Sekiro. It just hit me in my head. It just hit me in my head. Sekiro. I don't know why I couldn't pronounce that. In some cases, extreme challenges that also come with action RPG. And just think back in discourse around beating a pre-patch, okay, in the shadows of Elden Tree, for example. It says, Lee continues by some also said that the difficult has been called hard instead of you've also felt okay with switching it down to normal. Again, this demonstrates players' ego more than anything else. The decision to call the difficulty modes normal and easy affect players' retention. It would seem so, right? So it seems like they put hard on normal, and then normal, and then easy is normal, right? So normal is hard and easy is normal, right? Apparently. Difficulty is subjective to each player's experience. Khazan's challenges differently. Okay, he says, why we offer multiple difficulty options from the start, we wanted more people to enjoy it. And we thought it'd also be better for players freely adjust the challenge, and we thought it was up to the player to lower it. So if it was too hard, or raise it if it was too easy. And that one's big lesson we've learned from all of this. He says the results is that the June update that added both the beginner and hardcore difficulty modes. Beginner was a result of people claiming, sure, there's an easy mode, but that's the hardest. But it's the hardest easy mode I've ever played, per Lee, and doesn't also just make enemies easier. Okay, to kill make the characters more hardy. It also adds accessibility elements, allowing you to engage in your own discretion better. Okay, hardcore, meanwhile, rolls out the bosses in-game in their purest form. Bastard hard versions of the encounters and are also more true than the prototype versions from the earlier and the dev cycles. This is a polar opposite approach compared to the creator for Dark Souls. He's gone on the record saying turning down Elden Ring's difficulty would break the game itself. Monster Hunter is actually enduring compliments about the opposite end of the spectrum at the moment, with veteran players clamoring for harder fights in the post-game. Newly released Wu Chang, also Fall Feathers, devs are also using post-patches to address cheap difficulty in their fights, and somewhat impossible to get the balance right for the first time clearly. He says, I appreciate the transparency of the developers here. I think Neo People assessment reactions to the player's behavior is fascinating. Look behind the curtain of the game development, and something is more developers should endeavor. Okay, regarding the game's development, I would rather this than anything else than a little more underhanded, like you see in Resident Evil 4, which quietly bumped the difficulty down without telling anyone and struggling with a certain section. I don't like that. I don't like games that literally baby you, right? So it's like, this is too hard for you, so we're going to lower the difficulty for you. Like, no, don't do that, right? But they want engagement. It says difficulty hard games is not the new conversation. In fact, it's something in the cultural background. Only recently, our own Ed Muse, as a positive impact difficulty options, had an experience with the Lies of P Overture. He's spoken about the fine-tuning balance of the video game can often be a bore, and we're also, if we're honest. He says, what's your opinion? Okay, are you likely to pick up the first Berserker Khazan knowing that there's more difficulty options now available? Or would you like your games, misogynistic, where you just like that difficulty and push your head through a wall, right? Again, I find it very interesting. And again, I always think it's the developer. If they wanted to just put a hard mode, then that's up to them. And it's up to you, the gamer, to go, that's only hard mode. I kind of like this. I'm going to get it. This is why I've always said that, yes, Dark Souls, when people say it's not a niche, it is a niche. It's a niche because the people that like that type of game also have to like the difficulty setting of that game, of a Sekiro, of a Dark Souls, okay, of an Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a little scaled down. It actually helps you because you can team up with people and do stuff, okay? That's my first entry into that, Elden Ring. Okay, I played like 60 hours of it, never completed the game, but I enjoyed my open world aspect of it and going up against boss fights. Some of it was rewarding, some of it was not. But I put it down. I was like, I'm good. I've never beat the game. Never beat the game. Okay, I just don't care at this point because I'm just like, I'd rather go play something that I'm not sweating at. Okay, I would rather go up against other people online than play a boss and try to bash my head through a wall. And I totally get it. I don't think they should ever lower the difficulty level, but I also find it hilarious when people do say, hey, we want to put an easy mode in or a normal mode. Those guys or girls that finish it at the hardest difficulty, they're like, no, you don't do what I did. It's like nothing. No one's taking it away from you. You beat it on the hardest difficulty. You beat it, and fantastic. But if other people want to play the game, I don't see a problem. Okay, now that's just player versus the player arguing about should they put a difficulty level in. Again, I stand on if the developer wants to put it in, then put it in. If they don't want to put it in, don't put it in. It's whatever their artistic vision is and how hard they wanted to make the game. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. These are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos, right? So chat, what do you think? Do you think this is, do you quit games or do you lower the difficulty? Let me hear what you guys have to say. What's going on, Al Dente? Jesse, what's going on? Ward, good morning. Argus, good morning. Water Bear, good morning. Let me scroll back up here. Robert Jones says, how many old school runs were also ruined because the power tripped and also the school or game is just frozen? Yep. You came back, you're like, no! You're like, Mom, I told you not to I was just vacuuming the house, and then I hit the power button. I'm sorry, right? You got to pick up your controllers. You can't just leave them on the ground like that. I almost killed myself. And you're like, I got to go through all the worlds again, Ma, right? Cuphead tutorial was too hard. Do you know what's funny, Jason? I got all the way to the boss fight in Cuphead. I was this close to beating it. Like, literally, the health was this close. And then I went, I'm good. Right? I streamed it years ago, right? Had the health down to this, and then I just stopped. I was like, I'm good. Because once you die, you had to go back through all the different modes again, right? So you had to go through, I think it was like 7, because the Cuphead's final boss is the cat with the roulette wheel or whatever, and then you had to beat like 6 bosses or something like that in a row, and then get to the last boss, and then when you're at the last boss, you have to... I was this close. I was like, I'm not going back. So I just stopped. Let's see. Water says Khazan is pretty hard for normies after you hit a certain part. Then it's gravy. Sarge says, I saved a game all day. When you got home, you saw the clock flashing on the microwave, and you're like, no. Yeah, the power went out. Those were nightmares back then. Water says, let's just John Walker the game instead. That's right. Water also says, Souls-like games are meant for you to develop the skills to actually play the game. The reason it's called Souls-like is because it takes your goddamn soul. Jesse says, I hate that. Clip says, like the new Shinobi game, that was also a game, has 3 difficulties, and for some reason, the highest difficulty is still baby mode. Interesting. I wonder if some people are just like, well, your skill level might be extremely high, Eclipse, because you play games all the time, right? So the hardest mode could be easy for you, but it might be extremely hard for somebody else. But it is funny, right? Because like they said, their normal was like hard, and their easy is like normal. Water says, people will definitely pick it up now that they also have the option to make it easier for them. The game itself is awesome, but I can see where the casual player would find it hard. See, my problem is, I'm actually making a video about like Game Pass, about owning games. A video it's about Netflix and Game Pass, how they're similar. But inside that the script I'm writing is talking about how when you buy a game compared to when you play a game like on Game Pass or a streaming service, right? When you buy a game at full price, you have that attachment to it that you have to like kind of finish it, right? Where if you play a game on a service where you're not purchasing it, majority of people feel like they don't have to finish it. They're just like, I didn't pay anything for it, right? So when someone plays a Dark Souls type of game, they're like, I spent my money on it, okay? I got to beat this. I have to beat this. When you have people try it out, right? Because a lot of people won't even try it. They won't even pay the $60 for the game because they heard that Dark Souls games are extremely hard. So like, I'll wait for it to go on sale. I'll wait for it to go on something else. So it's very interesting the mindset people have when they purchase something compared to when they don't purchase something. Jesse says, player skill, not game difficulty. They also made the same people, I think they are. Argus says it's zesty to play Souls-like games at a lower difficulty. There also should only ever be one difficulty. That's up to the... See, this is where I believe whatever the artist wants to make the game, if they want to put one difficulty, that's up to them. Then it's up to you, the gamer, Argus, to if you want to dive into that game and play that game, right? But I also don't think if the fan base says, hey, you should put a lower difficulty level, and then they do it, sort of like what these guys just did, I don't have a problem with that. Because if I beat it on the hardest difficulty, why do I care if someone played it on a normal or easy? Okay? Because if we're both in the same room and we both have a conversation, hey, did you play Souls? And you're like, yeah, Dark Souls? You're like, yeah. Did you beat it on the hardest difficulty? Sure did. Oh. And you could have that conversation, be like, yeah, no, I played it, but I didn't play on the hardest difficulty. And you'd be like, oh, dude, you got to go back and play it, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no point in anywhere that someone's going to be like, you're a fucking loser because you played on the easy difficulty level, right? No one's going to do that of your friends. You're, like, jokingly, they'll be like, yeah, you should, kick it up. Try it on hard. And be like, nah, I just don't like it. But I beat it. It's a good game. I just didn't want to play on the hardest difficulty. Overall is easy. Elden Ring overall is easy, but it does have the 2 of the hardest bosses in all of Souls games. Well, it's easier, Jason, because you can play it with your friends. Obviously, if you play a lot of Souls games, it's probably easier for that skill base for that person, right? They probably lowered Elden Ring's difficulty overall, hence why it sold the most, because it was more approachable for everybody. It was open world, and if there were hard bosses there, you could bring in a buddy or call in. What was that? The person that was like walked around naked with a pot on their head. He's something, right? Who would be like the savior of people. He would just show up and like help people complete the game, right? Like, let me solo her. That's it. Let me solo her, right? He would come in and do like amazing, right? That's what's cool, right? Because his skill level was much higher than everybody else's. Mo says it took a week break from Expedition 33. It came back, beat Simon. Felt so good. There you go. That's old school gaming right there, Mo. Right? Take a break, walk away, come back, and fix it or finish it. Arga says gatekeeping is not only entertaining and fun for the person doing it, but it's also base, keeping the undesirables out of the space and community. Sure, but it doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. If you played Souls games at your house at the hardest difficulty and someone played it on easy across the world, you still beat it on hard. Robert Jones says, I only lower the difficulty if I started the game in hard mode. Otherwise, I quit. But apparently, the article says more people quit than they lower the difficulty. Yeah, you had to do all the boss fights again. Yeah, in Cuphead. And I did it like 3-4 times, and I got to the boss, and I went to the very end, and I was like, fuck this, I'm done. I rage quit, basically. Never beat it. And then they added where you could, what's it called? Co-op and stuff, right? Because at the beginning it wasn't co-op, or was it co-op? I forget. No, I think it was co-op. I played solo the entire time, but quit the game and never lower the difficulty. I can respect someone more quitting a game than ever lowering the difficulty and pretending that they play the same game as everyone else. But they're not pretending. See, you're making up something like you're in your own head, right? If someone bought a Dark Souls game and played it on an easy difficulty, if they had one, they're not pretending. They know they did it on easy, right? They're not on the same playing field as someone that played it hard. They just completed the game. So in a conversation comes, hey, did you play Dark Souls? Yes, I did. Well, what difficulty did you play it on? I right? If that question comes up, be like, oh, I played it on hard. And they're like, oh, I played it on medium. They're like, oh, fuck you, dude. Right? Like, that's not going to happen. You would give shit to your friend and be like, well, right? Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't happen. You can have respect or whatever. But again, you sitting in your house and me sitting in my house, I don't give a shit if you respect me or not, if I lower the difficulty, if I did play that game. You play a normal mode or higher. Those are the only options. A man/male got to add the male instead of for a man for a few in chat. They don't meet the requirements for man, unfortunately. I guess. Server says, I drop a game instead of lowering difficulty if the difficulty seems to have just made the enemies a bullet spongy. You're on the normal, Silver, because that's what they're saying. More people quit the game than actually lower the difficulty. Right? Morning, Ray. This is why many stop pirating after a while. People enjoyed less something they didn't pay for. Right. Right. And if they do enjoy it, they'll go out and buy it or whatever. Right? Because if you like the game, you'll most likely buy it. El Dente, what's going on? Says, my friend is mad because I played the Resident Evil games on an easier difficulty, but I just wanted the story, not the mechanics. But do you see the problem? Like, why would they be mad? Like, I can't fucking believe that you beat the game on the easiest difficulty. It's like, who cares, dude? Like, like, fuck off. Who gives a shit? Travis says, actually, this is the entire Souls fan base. If you're not playing, your hard controller is slipping out of your hand. It's not really playing it. Imagine if these people had a soul. Look, I get it. Like, when I do push-ups or anything else, I'm like, I'm going to do 50 push-ups. And at 20, my arms are burning. Guess what? I don't quit doing push-ups. I continue doing push-ups. Right? Not everyone's like me. Right? My wife's like, I'm going to do 15 push-ups. She does 5, and she's like, I'm good. Right? That's the way it is. Sarge, thank you much. 10-20, give for 20. 10-20-30. At 10-20, he gave 20 for 30. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you. Argus says, but I don't need someone who plays it on easy mode coming in to tell me the game is shit because of this. Well, you're making a very specific thing, right? The difficulty setting and someone's opinion on a game are two completely fucking different things. Okay? And if someone comes in and you played a game on hard mode and beat it and like it, and then someone plays it on easy mode and they think it's a piece of shit, has no effect on you whatsoever. You still like the game and you still beat it on hard. They don't like the game. They played it on easy. Again, nothing changes. Alton says, but Elden Ring, you can also over-level and over-gear really fast and also use summons. That's what I was using. I found a weapon, and I was using summons, and I was like, this is great, right? I liked it. El Dante says, I spent 3 hours on Simon, then looked online and made the game not fun because it became overpowered. Are you talking about Simon? Are you talking about Simon? Beep, 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 boop. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Are you talking about that Simon? Eclipse says, yeah, this is what I love about Souls games. You can tell when someone skillful in those games. Yeah, well, of course. Here's the thing. I used to love watching people play those games, but I don't want to play that game myself. I don't care. I played normal. When I hit 40 years old, I started playing normal. Right? I lowered the difficulty to normal. I said, I'm 40, I'm playing normal. I don't give a shit. Most of the time, I play normal on stream, and this is the only reason I play normal on stream, is because the game goes by faster, right? Because as a content creator, I'm not going to sit here like a Co-Carnage where I'm playing the game and trying to beat it over the next 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to play the game. Crowded House says, I rage quit Battletoads. I keep getting to the queen with only 1 or 2 lives left. Yeah. Feel you. I forgot about Cuphead 2 coming out. I forget. Did they make Cuphead 2? And that was with a third character, right? Or was that DLC, or was that number 2? It's been a long time since that game came out. Didn't that game come out in like 2017, 18? I was streaming on Twitch, I think the first time. I want to say it came out, and we went to a convention. I'm pretty sure it was like back then, yeah. Robert Jones says, who do you think they added easy mode for, Solomon Argus? Med, most likely. Not in Argus's head, they're boys. He's saying that you lose your man card if you can't play it on hard difficulty. Travis says, 30, here's the real problem. Most idiots who go online and are like, they didn't beat on the highest difficulty. What a loser. They need to improve, and all about needing other people. Well, here's the thing. Here's the one thing. I played and always played Bad Company on hardcore. Nobody plays on hardcore. You know why? Because they're a bunch of pussies. Because they want to run and gun out there instead of playing like you're playing for real, right? So when you play hardcore in Battlefield, it's one shot, one kill. Okay, so everyone's like, it's bullshit. No kill cam, no nothing. You play the game completely different. Completely different. Right? That's where I like playing hardcore. Just call him a scrub and move on. I think it's weird that there's no Cuphead 2. It was popular, had a TV show. I think there is going to be a Cuphead 2. They made a shit ton of money. Salty says, any story campaign I play on normal every time. Yeah, it goes by faster and whatnot. And I play a lot of open world games. I don't need to spend 400 hours. Waterbear says, 30 drops September 26. Absolum drops September 26, only $39.99. So Marvel Cosmic Invasion will probably be around that. I see what you're saying. So you're saying they're gonna release it around the same time? Ray says, I can respect people who play Souls games and Metroidvania. They suffer for 2 or 3 hours, and the rewards is 2 lines of dialogue that confuses you more. I like what you said. They bash their head for 2-3 hours just to get two extra things of dialogue. Mike, I should rephrase, I don't care what they do with the privacy for the most part. It's when it comes to online, pretend that they accomplished or experienced the same things as you and try to fit in. I totally get that. From that perspective, Argus, I completely, like, just a fake person, right? Like, for instance, if someone comes in, well, it's happening right now, actually. It's happening right now for me with the Battlefield community, right? I've played every single Battlefield known to man. I know everything about Battlefield, and someone comes in that played Battlefield 2042 because they played it on Game Pass for the first time, and they're like, Battlefield's back, baby. Woo, we're in it. Yeah, baby, we're back. And I'm like, did you even play Battlefield before this? Like, it's the fake people that come in, and from a point of view is, I get, like, yeah, I want you to like Battlefield and stuff, but don't pretend that you've been here for the last 20 years, right? Don't pretend you've been here for the last 20 years. I understand 100% what you're saying about that. They're trying to fit in. They're trying to be cool or whatever. And it's just like, all right, stop it. Oh, you're talking about Expedition 33. Gotcha. I was like, Simon like the game? But it's Simon. I see, I didn't get that far in Expedition 33. That's that old guy, right? Is that who it is? That's the old guy that with the cane. Argus says, if you play on easy and keep your lesser experience to yourself, I'm perfectly fine with it. So Destiny 2 is the only game I go into day one on legendary difficulty. I'm trying to remember what if we played. I mean, some of the raid bosses and stuff like that were. I think you just played on normal difficulty, didn't you? Could you change the difficulty in Destiny 1, Destiny 2? Oh, you could. You could change the yeah. You could change the things with modifiers and stuff like that, correct? It's been so long. I literally shut out Destiny, my ex-girlfriend, and just kind of just toss her out the window. Travis says 30. Here's what's hilarious to me. All of these idiots. Why do you keep calling them idiots? Being like they beat on the hardest. Okay, great. That's $5. We'll buy you a cup of coffee, although you also might be $5 anymore. Yeah, but that's let me break it down to you this way, Travis. You're saying that the people that beat games on a harder difficulty, the idiots, right? That would be just like you saying that you're playing games for story. They don't play games for story. They play for the actual gameplay, right? So they could say the same thing. The idiots that just play for stories. You see what I'm saying? People play games for different reasons. Some people play it for the difficulty. Some people play it for the story. Some people play it just because they just want to play games, right? Roic says, the way I look at it is if you play games to have fun, not to be stressed out. Exactly, right? Some people play it for the story. Some people play it just to play games. Some people play it for the difficulty. Argus says, no, Mike, I don't play hard difficulty most time anymore since I was younger. I only ask for at least normal difficulty to get extra props for hardcore. Like I said, I hit 40. I'm like, I'm playing normal. I don't give a shit about the hard difficulty anymore. I don't have time for that shit. Especially, I'm not in this situation because I play more games than most people, right? At my age group and stuff. But I have friends that have, full-time 40, 50-hour week jobs, right? They come home, they're exhausted, they sit in front of their console, they want to play something. They're not putting it on hard mode, right? They come home to sit down and just play a game. They're not there so they can fucking sweat, get angry, throw a controller on the ground, punch a hole in the wall, and then go to bed, right? They're like, I just dealt with all that shit in the day. I'm just kind of relaxing, man. Hardcore is easy mode. It's easy mode because when you shoot the gun, you kill people, Jones, but the game completely changes the fundamentals of the game, right? Oh, yeah, it's super easy running out in the middle of the field and just, oh, yeah, it's really, right? But if you want to play an actual experience like it's actual battle, right? Let me put it this way. You ever play paintball? You ever play airsoft? You ever play any kind of game like that? Do you run and gun and go out in the field and just... No, you're dead. And then you're out of the game. Okay? No, you hide, you peek out, you try to shoot, because that is war. That's how it works. No one's running out Call of Duty style. No one's coming out, I got a kill streak, I killed 3. You're dead. You're dead. 5 seconds. You run out in the middle of a paintball field, you're done. And guess what? You pay to play. You pay to play paintball. You ever see those guys that go to the paintball thing? They get the extra gear. They got the super gun. They got the magazine, the extra things. They're all doing the whole thing, right? And they're in there for 3 seconds and they're out. At the end of the paintball round, after the hour or when you're done renting, they still have 900 bullets in their gun and they have paint all over them because they fucking suck. X Factor says, I'm so guilty of this. I need just to lower the difficulty more often. I finish more games. Yeah. Yeah. X Factor, are you below or above 40? They played Battlefield Battle Royale mode, players 30. No optional boss. Travis says, and you're factually wrong. No, you guys are arguing again. Yeah, Destiny 2 is the only game I played harder modes and activities anymore. I don't even play it anymore. That's the hardest difficulty ever. Not playing Destiny. No, not really. It's super easy. Aku says 30. There were difficulties, but some released later. The raids also started the challenge mode day 1. Campaign day 1. Always legendary difficulties. Right. You would do it the first day so you get the option if you finish in the first 24 hours on the highest difficulty. So you could grace you so you could pay for a $250 raid jacket. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. It's kind of like how 30 plays those truck sim games. He's insane. Yeah, you want to play hardcore. There you go. You play fucking snow runners, all right? It's the dark souls of fucking truck sims. Ray says, I played XCOM, Enemy Unknown on normal on PlayStation 3. Later, I played it on hardcore on Steam because I love the game and then the challenge is good. Right, Ray. And that's the way if I really like a game, I'll play normal first. And then if I really like it, I'll go back and play it again, right? And then I'll play it on harder difficulty. Unless it's a game like a Fallout or Skyrim. Then I'll just play a different way of playing it with a different build and stuff like that. X Factor says, as soon as it gets stressful, I'm out. I'm too old for your added stress. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Aku says, stop calling me out for having PB airsoft gear. I don't get out fast though when I play. 5152 October 27th. Yeah, you don't have time for that shit. You're just like, I don't have time for fucking hardcore mode. I'm just playing on normal. Yeah. I prefer hardcore in COD and Battlefield. I love playing hardcore in those types of games. More people, honest to God, right? This is not I'm better than you or anything like that. More people should play hardcore mode in those types of games. Because the guy that gets 55 kills a game, that runs out in the open and comes behind you and stabs you with a knife and takes your dog tags and all that other stuff, would play and get completely destroyed if they play hardcore. It makes you play completely different. You got to sneak around. You're moving up. You're giving cover to people. Look at the chaos that happens when you just play on normal. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. It's fun, right? But when I play a game like that, I want to play like, hey, we got to get that objective, and none of us are going to fucking die. Let's go get this, right? That type of thing. That's what I like. Ray says SnowRunners is greater than Kojima's FedEx. You know what I mean? When you're playing a Call of Duty or you're playing Battlefield and you're just running around with a chicken with the head cut off, or I can say a roach with their head cut off if you're playing Grounded 2, okay? You just got to run around. You're just like, right? It's like that's not how it works. I like the strategicness of playing a Hell Let Loose. I like Battlefield Bad Company or Battlefield 3 on hardcore mode. I like those types of ways because the game flows completely different. Right. It makes you check your corners, one room grenade, flash, check the next room, air. And the problem is if a group is coming and you're hunkered down, that would be called camping if you're playing another day. Right? But if I'm in that one room and they're coming towards me, of course I'm fucking camping. Because it's one bullet per thing, right? If I get shot, I'm dead. So I'm going to camp and let them come to me and then take a whole group out, right? And then move up. Right? That's how I like it. Factor says, now I don't have time. I just got back into collecting Transformers again from '86 movie. Transformers. Nice. We got the 40th anniversary of Optimus Prime back there. Roic says, this is why I like Ghost Recon. Try not to be seen when you also clear in full base and never be seen once is awesome. Yeah, I hate kill cams. I hate kill cams, especially if you're a person that's like sniping and stuff. You got a great spot, okay? You got a great spot. In hardcore, snipe away, okay? That's the whole thing. Hunting down, trying to find the people, okay? But you're playing normal mode and you shoot someone, you got to move. You got to move. You can't sit there and just keep shooting someone from that window because they know where you are. They're like, oh, there he is. He's in the window. You see him? It's right here. He's right here, everybody. He's right here. Even though they didn't spot you originally, but now everyone knows where you are. Okay. Aku says, I played a lot of hardcore conquest as a sniper. One shot, one kill, center of mass. I got extremely fun. I was able to do area of denial of multiple squads at a time. Yeah, it feels so much better. But of course, majority of the people, right? This is my Dark Souls thing, right? This is the people that play on normal. I'm that guy. I'm the guy with Dark Souls, right? Like if you're not playing on hardcore, if you're not playing hardcore on Battlefield, then you're not playing Battlefield. Water says, kill cams give your position away, and it's dumb. Yeah, it's 100% dumb. There's no such time as camping in hardcore? No, right. That's what I'm saying, Robert. They would say that you're camping, but that is what hardcore is, right? Just picture yourself in a real combat zone, right? Picture it. You're going to be like hunkered down, looking over each corner, checking around each thing, right? Taking your time, sweeping the thing. That's what you do. All right. Let's move over to the next story, shall we? Hell Let Loose is Battlefield on hardcore. A little too hardcore. I'll be honest with you. I wish I had the time to play more Hell Let Loose. I really do. I really like Hell Let Loose. It's much slower pace, time to kill, one shot, one kill, basically, right? But you have to communicate. You have to have a good team. You have to be willing to open up. And a lot of people that play Hell Let Loose, kind of like they moved over from Call of Duty, they moved over from Battlefield, and they just don't get it, right? And then the people that are hardcore people that like playing Hell Let Loose, they take it way too seriously. So there's like this giant gap of, do I put in, like, I joined a group, last year, maybe a year and a half ago, and because I didn't put 8 hours in a week, they kicked me from the group. And I get it. Okay, I didn't put enough time into the squad, and they wanted to know, right? But when I play, I'm really good. They're like, oh man, you're really fun to play with. But I don't have the time to put in. But that's a fun game. If you want to play a really good game, Hell Let Loose is that game. think it'd be better on the PC. Ron Slusher says Concord has a kill cam. Yeah, right now I can see the kill cam, and it's dead in the desert next to ET. Let's see. Hell Let Loose is too slow for many of the young kids. Yeah, the TikTok brainers, they can't take it. They're like, did you know that the biggest complaint? And this is funny. I heard this on someone else. They said the biggest complaint of Battlefield is that people don't like running. They think running from point to point is too open. That's Call of Duty for you. The people that are saying that are Call of Duty people coming over to play Battlefield, because Battlefield people understand you hop in a Jeep, you hop in a tank, you hop in a helicopter, you get in a jet, you get to your spot, you run. They don't care about running from point A to point B because those people like the wide open maps. Those people like that type of thing. But the people that are coming over from Call of Duty are like, it's just too much running. There's just stuff going on. That's 10 times worse in Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose, you could click on anybody's stream right now on Hell Let Loose, right? All 5 of them, okay? And when you watch them play, it's just them running to a point. They're like, I'm getting there. Right? But when you're playing the game, you're like, all right, this guy, I see a guy over in the corner, 2 in the bush, right? But you can't hear the other people that they're talking to, right? People just don't like running. They're like, this is a run simulator. Meanwhile, they're all lining up for Kojima's run simulator or any other run simulator out there. It's called Battlefield. The big field is the point. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder which executive at Sony has Concord's kills cam, right? Robert Jones says, the problem with Hell Let Loose is I can't convince my homie to play. I get it. Talk about niche games. It's so much fun, though. Robert Jones says, Hell Let Loose is the best walking simulator besides Battlefield. Yeah, when I can say get out and walk, that's what I do. I don't actually go out in the real world and walk. I load in Hell Let Loose and start walking around the battlefield. I played Arma. Was it Arma? What was the other one? It wasn't Arma, but I played it years ago. The problem with that is nobody wanted to play with me, Jesse. I like games like that. I think I played Arma. I played, there was another one. I forget what it's called now. I played a bunch of different ones. Sand something. So that's the problem. I can't remember them. I wanted to play, if you're talking about the new Arma, Reforge, is that what it is? Arma Reforge? I wanted to pick that up and play it, but I haven't. If you're talking about that Arma. I played Arma like years ago. Travis says 30 new Battlefield looks great as long as they don't add in Battle Royale. Oh shit. Like I'm telling you, my biggest thing about Battlefield 6 is the Battle Royale. Battle Royale comes in, I want it to fail. I want Battlefield 6 to be Battlefield again. If Battle Royale comes in, I need it to fail. I need it to fail so Battlefield can survive. Does that make sense? Right? I don't like anything failing. I want Battle Royale Battlefield to fail. Because if it succeeds, Battlefield dies. You guys understand what I'm saying? The Battle Royale cannot exist in a Battlefield game because then it's not Battlefield. They'll make more money from that. More people will play that. Less people will play this. Which actually brings us to our next story. Let's talk about this. Okay. Battlefield 6 servers will use bots if not enough players. Why would they say this now? Why would they say this so early on? Okay. Obviously, I talked about this. I was like, they're going to fill the lobbies with bots. They do it in all games now. Okay. But why would they say this? right? Well, obviously, I would assume is because when the Battle Royale comes out and everyone starts to play the Battle Royale, well, they're going to have to fill the lobbies in the regular game with bots because nobody will be playing it because they would rather play the free-to-play Battle Royale than the $70, $80 version of Battlefield. Okay? Right? They want 100 million players. Why would there ever be bots? Why would there ever be bots? Okay, so if you guys like what we do here, go talk about news stories, have conversations, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really, hit the like button. If you're here, you've been around for a bit, right? I can't imagine why you would stay around if you didn't like it, okay? If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do appreciate you very much. We do this about 2.5 to 3 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. So just trying to entertain you, get you through a couple hours of your day, all right? Battlefield 6 servers will use bots if not enough players. This comes from Insider Gamer. Okay, EA and DICE plan on using AI bots to fill Battlefield 6 servers if there aren't enough players for the game. I'm sure they'll have plenty. I'm sure we'll have plenty of players in there. There should be no bots until the drop-off happens, right? As part of the multiplayer event in Hong Kong per Taiwanese outlets, GNN also spotted that by Battlefield Bulletin, DICE said that AI soldiers will be backfilled servers if they're unpopulated. It was funny. I was watching a Tim the Tatman video just last night. And he was at the event, right? The event that he was doing. And he started playing, and he had a thought for a second because he went on this streak. He couldn't hit a fucking side of a barn with some of the firing he was doing. But then he got the shotgun, and he started playing with the shotgun, right? I think Tim's pretty entertaining. I like watching him, right? Not because of his gameplay, because of just how funny he is, right? He interacts with his chat and stuff like that, right? He's shooting people with the shotgun, and he goes on this, 6 to 7 kill streak. At that moment, Tim the Tatman was like, was that bots? Right? He said, is that bots? And then he thought about it for a second. He's like, wait a minute. They told us, this is what he said, they told us that everybody in the game is in the game. Right? Everyone's in this building is in this game, and the people that didn't make it are playing from another way. But for him to say at the opening event during a beta event, were those bots? Because he went on this tear, and he was just like, wait a minute, that felt weird. His chat started asking, right? They're like, was that bots? He's like, I don't think they're bots. He's like, no, that can't be bots. And he looked at the scoreboard, looked at the thing, but you can't tell if they're real people or not, because inside the game itself, they have a streamer mode. Streamer mode inside the game, you can change the name so the people don't know it's you, so they can't stream snipe you and stuff like that. And then there's another version where it also changes everyone's names or whatever. It makes it anonymous. So you could put bots. You could do whatever. That's a safety precaution for them to go, oh, yeah, no, it's the servers. It's the people across the world, right? They can make it. I know everyone thinks that companies don't do this, and I'm not saying that these guys are doing it. I'm just saying they have it set up now where they can pretend the game is more popular than ever before, right? They could tell you that, oh, it's so popular, the servers are full. But when you play Fortnite, 30% of the people playing that game are not players. They're just bots. So who's to say that they're not doing that in the newer games? Because it's the feeling of you feeling good about yourself about winning the Battle Royale, winning against the game, right? If you're playing bots and you don't know, right, there's some times that me and Sarge play Battlefront in the co-op mode. We know they're bots, but then there's sometimes all of a sudden you see like Yoda or Grievous come up to you and they start fighting you and you're like, is that a real player? Right? You're like, is that a real player? Did someone just take over that player? Because they move differently, right? And if they had that technology for the bots back in 2018, what do you think's happening now in 2025? I don't know. You make that call, okay? So it was said that Battlefield Studios' philosophy is to allow as many players as possible to play at the same time. This would just be used on the off chance that should a game need a few players in order to get started. DICE also gave an example, used a case of AI bots in Battlefield 6 multiplayer, saying that players could create a custom game mode in Portal that allows players to get more comfortable in the game. Okay? They've said in Portal you could put the AI bots and make them as hard as you want. They've said this. Okay? It says, while not confirmed, it should be expected that should more players join the server, those bots will then be replaced. Sure. Again, Marvel Rivals. When you play a quick match, sometimes if someone drops out, it fills it in with a bot. You don't know it's a bot because it looks like a name, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Okay? But there's bots that fill. That's only a 6-man team. Make it feel like it's better, right? So, sticking with multiplayer, it was said that the game will also have a number of seasonal events. This includes new weapons, maps, and also modes in order to keep things fresh. How often the seasons come, however, wasn't revealed. Battlefield 6 launches on October 10th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC. Game is set to have 2 beta weekends starting August 7th. Okay, so what do you think about the AI bots populating online multiplayer lobbies to get games going? Well, it's not going to be get games going. It's going to be to get games. Right? It's going to make you feel like you're winning more. It's going to make you feel like you're killing more guys. It's going to make you feel like it's a fun game. This is what they do. They do this in all games now. How is it that majority of gamers are playing 7 games that are 8 years old, and yet all of these new games or lobbies are filled? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Let me scroll back up and see what you guys are saying. Sarge says, if you're always running in first-person shooter and feeling bored, it's because that you are not a team. You're not team playing. There are plenty of vehicles. You have multiple spawn points, locations. Jesse says they have a World War II mod for Armor Reforged. It's looking sick. I'll have to check that out. Is Armor Reforged out for PC? Or I'm sorry, out for console? Jason says, I won't bother with the beta. I played Battlefield 1 yesterday. Still amazing. Battlefield 1, we played it like a couple months ago. I love it. It's fantastic. It's so good. And that's what? 2016? Yeah, it was in between Battlefield 1 or Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2. Because it was Battlefront 2015, Battlefront 1 2015, Battlefield 1 in 2016, and then Battlefront 2 in 2000. That stretch right there, great games. Great games. I didn't like Battlefront 1 as far as running over the things to get the, to be like Darth Vader or be a hero. But it was a good game, and they made it better in Battlefront 2. Battlefield 1 was great though. Eclipse says, but they're going to get 100 million, right? Yeah, 100 million bots, 100%. Why wouldn't there be enough players, bro? I don't know. Why would they use bots? I mean, I get why they use bots, right? Because if the lobbies feel empty, then you'll stop playing. We just talked about people on a harder difficulty. Instead of lowering the difficulty, they'll just quit. If you're playing a multiplayer game and the lobbies are not filling, you're like, fuck it. How many times does that happen to us? We're like, hey, let's go play this. We're like, it's not working. There's nobody in here. All right, fuck it. We're leaving. Right? Bots change that. You're like, oh, man, it's filling up. You don't know if it's real or fake. In Florida, when I see a body of water, I don't think there's a gator in the water. I know there's a gator in the water. When I look at multiplayer matches, I know there's bots in the match, right? I don't think there's bots in the match. I know there's bots in the match. Argus says, my friend is super hyped for Battlefield, so I will 100% be playing the beta. I've also played every Battlefield since Bad Company 2, and yes, including Hardline. I know. I also played Hardline, and it was just saying that. I think I just threw up in my mouth. I gotta rinse it out. Oh man, gotta get away. Hardline. Got indigestion. Just saying it. Ray says bots sound good. Fill a team and replace them with mid game. when someone enters. I guess. Robert Jones says, I hate bots, but if they also are using them, I'd rather them be upfront about it. But they're only filling it in. They're being upfront about it. They're just filling it in just to get the game going, Jones. Ray says, Bleeding Edge needs bots. Is Bleeding Edge still around? Jason says, I remember Titanfall 1 having so many bots. When you cry, you kill a bot, and the bot was just a poor dad who only plays 2 to 3 hours a week. There was someone during the event, a COD player. Okay, there was a COD player. I forget is it Swag? I think that's his name. I think it's Swag. He got killed and literally said during the event, "It's cheater." That's the mindset of a Call of Duty player because Call of Duty people cheat so much. Right? He's in an event, in a LAN event. He got killed and was like, bro, he's cheating. How? How is the guy in a LAN event cheating? Please explain. Please explain. Salty says, I was killing bots in 2042 beta. Of course there'll be bots. Yeah, there's whole modes in 2042 with just bots. Hit detection. I've noticed, and I'm just saying what it is, okay? So in Battlefield 2042, which 95% of the people that made 2042 are working on this game, there was a time when the game came out and you would shoot people and there was no hit detection. Like you could put the marker on the person, shoot the person, and they would not get hit, right? I've had clips of this. Other people, you've seen things, okay? I've said it live on stream when I'm shooting somebody, okay? It's known, okay? They fixed it. But then I was watching someone play Battlefield 6 during the event footage, and they were shooting, and they were hitting the person. They're like, how am I missing? How am I missing? I'm like, I know the reason. I know the reason. Because the same problem's happening, okay? The same problem's happening. But the problem is, because the chaos is happening so much, you don't really realize it. But if you go frame by frame and you see the marker on the actual guy, okay, it's not Fortnite where there's like this bloom effect that's happening over here, okay? It's like giant bloom effect. Like you take a shot and you hit the guy when he's not moving, you sit there and it misses him. That's a problem. I hope that's not continuation problem from 2042. Because people are not really talking about it much, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." Another person kind of brought out when you not go prone, but when you squat down, if you have your marker on the guy, it moves over a meter, okay, to the left. So you squat down, and then the thing moves to a meter over. Like what? Why? So I'm cautious because Battlefield has done this before, 5 times before, okay, where they always have problems when they come out and they fix it over the course. Jesse says they put bot names, real players, to act like they were real. In reality, they're not. They're not real players, right? They make you feel like they're real players. Fortnite does a really good job with this, right? Fortnite does a really good job because they put the new skins, right? It's also an advertisement. Because if you have a bot that has a new skin, then you think someone else bought the skin, and then you advertise, oh, look at that skin. It looks pretty cool, right? And then you could purchase the skin. There's a lot of reasons they use bots in games. Lots of reasons. 1, it makes you feel better because you're getting more kills. 2, you get more wins. 3, it sells cosmetic skins. There's a lot of reasons why they use bots in video games now. Robert Jones says, I would rather sit in an empty lobby and wait for it to fill than fight bots. But you're not. Don't worry, they're all real. They're all real, Jones. Ray says, me and my Fortnite partner off after losing streak start to find more bots. They downgrade us. Yeah, 100%. Look, right, my 10-year-old son, right, when he first started playing, getting wins, I didn't tell him there was bot. He figured it out. He actually is so good at figuring out what a bot is. He knows the way they move, the way they react. He knows if it's a real person from a football field length away. He's like, that's a real person, right? He knows, and he'll kite them. okay, to show me that it's an NPC. He knows it at 10. Never did anything. Never told him anything, right? He tells me all the time. He's like, Dad, watch this. He'll goes, this is a bot. He knows the bot, and he'll start dancing in front of it, and the bot's shooting at him. It doesn't hit him. It won't hit him. He's like, watch this. I'm like, oh, you gotta shoot it. How do you know? He's like, and then he kills it, right? He knows what the bots are. Aku says, for better first-person shooter, Unreal Tournament, Unreal 2004 Arma, Hell Let Loose, Insurgents, that's the other one I played. Battlefield 3 and 4. Best first-person shooter in my honest opinion, or rather than the top 3 ever, or Bad Company, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Yes, 2000, was it 2009, 2011? Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare 2. Peak Call of Duty. Peak Call of Duty. Ray says, PlayStation Helldivers 2 without getting got boring quickly. It's a team game. Arma Reforge is on console with X-Play? Okay. Yes, and crossplay as well. Okay. I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up. Scrolling down. Sarge says, besides, bro, if there are bots, then more people get kill streaks. Right. You feel better about yourself. Battlefield 1 was supposed to be World War 1, right? It was World War 1. But what they did was there was so many small... There wasn't a lot of guns back then. So what they did is they put experimental guns in. Experimental guns. Water says, hardline makes you drink hard liquor. Yeah. Robert Jones says, hardline grew on me. Yeah, like a fungus. It's not a Hardline's a great Call of Duty game. Hardline is a great Payday game. It is not a Battlefield game. Robert Jones says, being upfront as opposed to lying about having bots like Fortnite and PUBG did for so long. Again, they're not being upfront and telling you there's bots in the game. They're telling you that they're filling in to help you start, right? There were an event for Battlefield. There were also a lot of the best Battlefield ever in the world playing Battlefield 6. Not a cheater. You're 100% correct in saying that the best Battlefield guys were there. 100%, right? There's a lot of great Battlefield players there. But there's also a lot of people that weren't. They're just streamers. That they have a lot of followers. And a lot of them are actually cheaters in the Call of Duty space. So much so when the Call of Duty guy calls out and says that was a cheater, it's because he is Call of Duty mine. And when you, just like I said, like in Florida, I look at a body of water, I know there's a gator, okay? Call of Duty players, when they're playing Call of Duty, they just go, that's a cheater, because that's the mindset that they're in, right? You can't cheat in a land format as they had, because they had a controlled situation. You couldn't like put anything that you wanted on your system or not. Ray says, Helldivers 2 gets boring without a mic to socialize. This is why I always play with friends when we play games like that. I don't like to go in. Every once in a while, you'll find a rando that's speaking, that's cool, and then you add them to the friends list type of thing. But for the most part, in any game, the people that don't like to talk, they stay silent. PS5 blows says Battlefield beta this weekend. Woo! We're going to play on the 9th and 10th, so Saturday, Sunday. Do the math, bro. Battlefield 6 was supposed to come out in the spring of 2026, and all of a sudden, it's coming out in a month. I'm telling you, I'm not saying don't buy it, like, ever. I'm telling people, just hold off on pre-ordering, hold off on buying it day one, week one. Let the servers get fixed, because they're going to have no game has come out flawlessly with servers, especially in the last 5 years in the online world. Okay, so if you're going in thinking that it's going to be awesome, you're going to get this false sense of comfort of this weekend's going to go by and you're going to be like, oh, they didn't have any problems. Because they know I said this yesterday, they know the flood of water coming in, the flow of water coming in for the beta. And as more people get the codes that they're giving, they're going to open that flap up because they're testing the servers. That's what they're doing, right? This weekend and next weekend are 100% testing servers, okay? So when the server time comes, the pre-orders, the amount of interest that happens this next week or this weekend and next weekend shows them, okay, this is how many people played the beta over the last 2 weeks. We need to up the scales. And hopefully the servers during launch on October 10th don't burn down. But again, I would be very cautious. Don't take off from work and shit like that, because you're gonna be waiting in lobbies and not getting in and crashing, and just like they've done every Battlefield since the beginning of time. Robert Jones says, realizing you just killed a bot is like post-nut clarity. Oh, man. Gaming for Pansies, Sarge says. Salty says, of course I did. It was supposed to be delayed until next year. Every time I kill a bot, Jesus cries. Oh. Has anyone tried Fragpunk? Not to be not too bad a game. I'm enjoying it. That's that card-based system, right? Is it on Game Pass yet? I'm assuming it's on Game Pass mode. That's why you're playing it. Aku says 30. And 90% of the time, a COD player is right. Themselves are also probably cheating too. Yes. There's a channel that's dedicated to exposing the cheaters of Call of Duty. I don't know if you guys ever watched it. I don't know the guy's name. He's in my feed every once in a while. Okay, and he shows them cheating. Eclipse says the only game I'm getting in October if the game is Arc Raiders. You're not gonna bet Battlefield 6, Eclipse? I think Arc Raiders in the long haul will have a really good player base. For all the things I've seen and heard. The First Ascendant drops content tomorrow. Let's fucking go. What's going on, Lindy? I'll take time off work for GTA 6 only. I'll let that happen, El Nini. Not that it matters, but what I'm saying is that seems like a good game to take off for. We have a story about that. It might get delisted. It might get delisted. Let me see where else. Dustin says, I used to watch Tim the Tap Man. He did catch cheaters at one point, but he gave up. Oh, I don't watch him for that shit. I watch Tim the Tap Man because he's just funny. I like how his chat. First of all, self-deprecation is very good, right? Like, I make fun of myself, he makes fun of himself, type of thing. He's just fun. He's just a fun person to watch. Okay, I like his. I don't get to watch him live. I get to watch his like clips and stuff and his past videos, and he's just a fun person to watch. Like even during the actual thing, right? He gets in a helicopter. He's like, "We're gonna get in the chat. We're gonna get in the helicopter. We're gonna get in the helicopter. Chat. We're gonna do this." He gets up and he crashes. 5 seconds later, he's like, "It's fucking inverted. I didn't know it was inverted. Right? It's just he's good at what he does. That's why he's got 5 million people watch him, right? Or sub to him. He's good. Shroud said Fragpunk is the best competitive game on the market, and no one is playing it because the market is so flooded. I can take, and as Salty says, yeah, I don't take advice from Shroud. I can see, look, Shroud is a professional. He was a professional gamer. He has good input for stuff. He might be 100% correct. Fragpunk could be the best game, but no one gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because there's so many other games out there, and he would be correct with the flooded market, right? This is the same thing we were saying about who cares about Concord, who cares about Marathon, who cares about these extraction games that come out. They just flood the market, right? Why am I going to leave Tarkov to go play Marathon? Why am I going to leave Tarkov to go play to Arc Raiders? Right? People that are playing that game like that game, and there's so many games to play. This is why I think Battle Royale should not come out for Battlefield. People trend chase. Mo says, I think it's fun as hell. I'm just saying that nobody gives a shit. It doesn't matter if it's the greatest game ever. People don't care. Right? Look, let me talk about myself and my channel for a bit, right? Those of you that are here know I say stuff way before other people make videos, right? I have nobody that knows about me except the people that watch me, right? I don't do clips. I don't do a whole bunch of stuff. I say shit, and then a year and a half later, everybody else starts saying shit, right? But it doesn't matter because nobody cares. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody can find me in the market, right? So Fragpunk, I'm Fragpunk, right? I think I'm a pretty good content creator, right? But nobody gives a shit. Fragpunk's a great game. No one gives a shit. Why? Because there's so many other games out there, right? There's so many other streamers out there. Nobody gives a shit. So you just fall away. Just keep doing your thing. Maybe 6 months from now, someone goes, hey, you know what? Fragpunk. Among Us is a perfect example. Among Us is a perfect example, right? Among Us, nobody played until what? Soda Poppin' or someone else played it. And then all of a sudden, it blew up years later. It had a player base, right? But not until a big streamer started playing it, it blew up. And now they started making other, Among Us 2, and they stopped to make more content for Among Us 1. It blew up. Right? That's the thing. Nobody cares until they do. What have you done for me lately? Hence why I've tried a different little mentality, right? I've tried a little thing. I took a vacation, came back from vacation, and started doing scripted stuff. I was going to do scripted stuff on the live stream, but I just said, nah, it's not working, right? So I'm doing the scripted stuff off, record the stuff, and I've been putting up. I have like 5 videos, 6 videos. They're doing good. They're not doing great, but they're slowly getting a more broader audience out there, okay? Trying to get exposure. Eclipse says, yeah, Fragpunk is a really good game. I'm just not into the CSGO type of games. Sarge says, way before. Unless you do something innovative or raise the bar, no one's going to jump in from their game. Exactly. El Nitty says, 30, you're borderline have a crystal ball. I just like saying, look, I evaluate what we have in front of us, reading the news stories. I give my opinion. I'm wrong a lot of times. But I'm also, I would say I'm batting about 300, right? If I was a batter in baseball, I'm batting 300, right? Which is good. It could be a Hall of Famer. Okay, but I'm not great. That's what's crazy, Mike. We played games growing up, always tried things out, and folks get locked to one nowadays. 100%. 100%, Mo. The problem is there's just too many games like it, right? Like they try something different and they get shunned for it. But that's the way they did. Perfect another example, Midnight Suns. Okay? I was interested in the very beginning, and then I saw the card system. And I was like, ugh, I don't know about this card system. Let me tell you, man, that card system in that game is awesome. It's awesome. Okay? Not until Fate Walker, right? Fate Walker, viewer of the channel, also a streamer, a content creator over on Twitch. Okay? Check him out. Really nice guy. Okay? Fate Walker one day was streaming out on Discord. Okay? And I started watching, and I watched him just on Discord, and I was like, how's this work? He showed me how it was, and I was like, this is fucking great. But the public looked at it and was like, ugh. And that's just it. No one cared. That game should have done much better from the guys that make those types of games. Should have done much better, but no one gave it a shot. Why? Because of the metrics of what Marvel was doing, because Marvel's Avengers came out, because of what the movies were doing, and no one gave it a shot. It's actually a really, really good game. Nobody cares. Now Fragpunk's like, hey, what about if we did this and we put cards in it? Everyone's like, I'm good. Jason says there's way less innovation compared to the old days now. I think there's still innovation. I just think there's just so much shit to go through. It's like, again, I'm making a video about Netflix and Game Pass. When you go to Netflix, look how much content's there. You spend 20 minutes just scrolling through to try to find a movie or a show, and then 40 minutes pass, you haven't watched anything. You're just scrolling through. It's just really hard to find the innovation. They're there, man. There's a lot of innovation happening with independent games, but it's just so hard to go through all of the stuff that's happening. The AAA stuff, there's not innovation. They just go what's easy, what makes money. Robert Jones says 30, just become anti-woke woke grifter, and you'll get all the views. I don't think that's true. I bet you I could be anti-grifting, Jones, and people would still not find me. Hal says, there aren't enough hours in the day for me to constantly switch and learn new games. That stuff takes time. I'm comfortable in playing Destiny, and I can't wait for it to get better when it has its downs. Salty says, still not done that last mission in Midnight Suns. I haven't gone back. To play it. There's just so many games. It's a great game, though. It really is. Roic says, most of the innovation comes from small indie studios. Yeah, it's just really hard to find them. Robert Jones says, I like Midnight Suns, but it's just too much damn talking. I don't want to miss any dialogue, but it's also the same time I can't suffer through it. What, Nico? I can't stand Nico in that game. I can't wait, though. So what I do is I just mash through Nico's dialogue, and then I go back in to play more missions. The combat in that game feels so good. Salty says the same thing. Same, the card part is fun, but the yap, kill it for me. Yeah, 100%. Crowd says game dev time is just too long these days as well. I feel like they also waited a decade for the news about Judas. Wait, I have. Yeah, it takes a long time for a lot of these games. The budgets are getting out of hand. Other than Nico, I like the team dynamics. Nico is probably one of the worst characters in the game, dialogue-wise, right? And I don't like the CW fucking drama that happens in the game. I do like the dialogue, like some of the stories that's happening, but most of it's just all blah, 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 CW shit. If you know, you know, right? But the combat and fighting this stuff is so good. Travis says, Nico is one of the worst characters in all of Marvel. I think this is the first time I have to agree with you, Travis. Holy shit! Is it? Is it freezing outside? This is one of the moments I actually agree with you. Yeah, she's terrible. I didn't know the character because I don't really pay attention to the comics and stuff like that. In this game, she's one of the worst characters ever. Mo says, I like CW, damn it. She's terrible. Like, as soon as she opens her mouth, I'm like, oh, shut up. It's like, shut up, Meg. You know what I mean? CW is perfectly mid. That's right. Perfectly. All right, next story. Salty says the characters we care about was decent part of the game. It could have also been a movie within the storyline. Right. Peak CW, Jones. Peak CW, right? This is before my kid was born and stuff like that. The first 2 or 3 seasons of Arrow, first 2 seasons of Flash, the first 4 seasons of Smallville, like that's the best. Like that was good stuff. Then they start to go off the deep end and start to jump shark per se. Yeah, the first 2 seasons of Flash were good. I'll be honest with you, the Arrowverse is probably some of the best comic connection points that's been done. Not in like forever in TV shows and movies, right? The Arrowverse is actually pretty goddamn good. Birds of Prey sucked. That was bad. Crowded says, Travis had a good take. Mark it on the calendar. Congrats. Y'all made me want to play replay Midnight Suns. Maybe one day I'll get there. All right. If you guys like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You just have conversations, talk about news stories, talk with chat, okay? The way you guys can help us out, the algorithm stuff has changed in YouTube, so if you like it, hit that like button. Show people that you like this. It goes out to other people. So if, let's say, you watched me and, let's say, Maddie plays, okay? So what it does is, okay, I just want to explain it to people, okay? So if you like this, and the people that watch me also watch Maddie plays, I don't know if that's true. I don't look at my analytics like that. But if you watch me and you watch him, it says, hey, the people that like him and also likes him, they might send it out to people like that and go, hey, if you like this, you might like this, right? So it takes the people that are watching plus the likes plus the interaction in chat, and it says, let's push it out to other people, right? So help me. Wait, let me help you help me make more content for you, right? So I would like to do this more, right? I would like to go maybe 5 days a week and stuff like that, but I need to get my stuff out there more. So share my uploads, share my live streams. Appreciate it very much. Let's get to it. All right. Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row at risk of being delisted in the adult games debate, it's claimed. I love the fucking it's claimed. Can't we just say it's rumored? Rumored? What happened to the word just rumor? Okay. In recent weeks, few topics in gaming space have earned as much attention of the adult games debate. It was recently revealed that the payment processor for certain gaming outlets are cracking down on the adult NSFW games, targeting some of these smuttier titles in the sight of storefronts like Steam. First of all, I haven't really talked about this. It was a question in GXG this past Thursday, right? Payment processors are like my neighbors. Stay out of my fucking business, okay? Like, you do your thing over there, I do my thing over here. If your thing infects my thing, then maybe we have a problem, okay? Payment processors do what your job is, which is payment processing. Now, the problem with a lot of the payment processors, right? I think MasterCard, if I'm not mistaken, is a publicly traded company, but it's also, most shares are owned by, is it BlackRock? I think it's BlackRock. And I think American Express is Berkshire, if I'm not mistaken, are run by these massive corporations, okay? Well, let me tell you something. Stay out of my fucking business. Just payment process. Let me pay for what I want to pay for. If I want to pay for porn, or if I want to pay for a slutty game, or if I want to pay for the most gentle game in the world, it's none of your goddamn business. Just swipe the card. Take your percentage, which is also highway robbery, by the way, okay, for every transaction, okay? Just make sure that when you use a credit card, you pay it all up front because they make zero money off of you, okay? They make it off the people that pay the monthly payments, where they're paying ice cream and they don't pay off the bill, and they're, instead of paying $10, or I'm sorry, but instead of paying $2 for ice cream, they're paying $75 for ice cream with interest, okay? All right, stay out of my business. It was also brought up that the rise of some activist actions from all the likes of GOG and the storefront that also made a bundle of NSFW games free of the claim for a short time of protests, financial censorship being pushed by some payment providers and processors. However, it is now being claimed that the games such as Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, Duke Nukem could be targeted by payment processors, potentially resulting in them being delisted. Who are you to tell me what games are bad for people? Okay? As a parent, let me tell you something. My son can't play Grand Theft Auto. He can. He won't, because I won't let him, okay? That's called parenting, okay? It's none of your goddamn business if I buy Grand Theft Auto, okay? It's none of your goddamn business if I let my 10-year-old play Grand Theft Auto, okay? But I'm a parent, and I'll decide what I want to buy for my money. My money is my money, and I want it now, okay? So potentially at risk, an article penned up by Gaming Linux has highlighted that also digital retro storefronts have been targeted by payment processors looking at to clamp down the adult games. The storefront Zoom platform explained it in a statement. As you likely are aware, There have been a number of adult titles delisting across the industry. One of our payment processors made us aware of the fellow member of the industries was concerned about your content or our content. We have no plans to remove any titles, and it will also be absolutely everything in our power to prevent such delistings, and we are fervent supporters of artistic freedom and always will be. Well, we'll see what happens. Gaming on Linux reportedly received an email from Zoom platform team explaining that they expected the delisting situation expanded further, and it was specifically said that the game, like Grand Theft Auto, Duke Nukem, and Saints Row, were also described as potentially at risk. Grand Theft Auto also has long been one of the most controversial franchises in gaming, but the NSFW elements of the game only make up a small part of what's on offer. And it's not also these smut titles that also hid in the libraries or some questionable games on Steam, and that's for sure. That being said, the violence, behavior, of destructible potential of franchises like Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, could also describe as gratuitous and harmful to the wrong people, like minors. Again, be a parent. Be a parent. Don't blame other people because you're a shitty parent. Sorry to rip off the Band-Aid, right? Not everyone's meant to be a parent. Not everyone's meant to be a Major League Baseball player. Not everyone's meant to be a lawyer, okay? Right? Not everyone's meant to be a parent. But if you're a parent, step up. Be a goddamn parent. Okay? The answer of taking of the shelves of preventing people from buying them, absolutely not. It's worth stressing that the Zoom platform is a retro-focused site and also claims it can also be angled towards more classic titles, especially when you likes of Duke Nukem are concerned. Okay? So what do you think? Do you think Grand Theft Auto is in trouble to be delisted? Do you think Duke Nukem or Saints Row? Let's be honest. The last Saints Row could be delisted. No one would miss it, right? Right now, I think people think it's been delisted, right? Hell, even Embark Studios is like, or Embracer Group. Sorry, not Embark. Embark is the finals and stuff. My bad. My mistake, right? Embracer Group's like, I'm sorry, did we own the license of Saints Row? We forgot that we made that game. Okay, it's a terrible game. Okay, overall, these payment processors and all of these organizations, first of all, they should have no say in whatsoever. If I give you $100 for a plastic spoon or for Grand Theft Auto, that's none of your business. Okay, none of your business what I do with the stuff. Just payment process my stuff. I make money. I want to spend my money. Okay, so don't tell me how to spend my money. Second, don't tell me how to parent. Okay, right? Just be a parent. Decide if you want your son or daughter to play certain things or not play certain things or watch certain things. Okay, but don't let other people tell you what you or should or shouldn't do. But I will tell you, just be a parent. Be a parent. That's it. These are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of the other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let's see what you guys are saying up here. El Dente says BlackRock owns everything. No, I think they own MasterCard, though, and I think it's Berkshire, which is another BlackRock type of thing. Who owns MasterCard? MasterCard is a publicly traded company, meaning that it's owned by shareholders. According to the investment, the largest institutional shareholder included MasterCard Foundation is the Vanguard Group and BlackRock. Yeah, Vanguard and BlackRock own MasterCard. Who owns American Express? American Express. Oh, man, I'm good. Owned by the shareholders, while Berkshire Hathaway owns American Express. Yeah. Yeah. Start calling the companies if you own the cards and cost them money every time you complain. Mention censorship. Yep. 100%. I like UPN. Also, CW was also cool during the Black Lightning run. Wasn't it? It was okay. It was the WB, then it was UPN, or was it UPN then the WB and then the CW? Right? It was UPN then WB, or was it WB then UPN and then CW? Did you know CW? CW has never made money. Has never made money. They've lost money in the entire time it existed. El Dente says, I heard someone explain it that the money related, they did it because they want Steam to pay more per payment. Well, that's not going to work out very well, is it? Now they're trying to extort people? Is that what they're trying to do? They consider it a high risk. Interesting. El Dente says, Alex from the Angry Joe Show and explain it. It's always money with the jest of being good. Haven't already been there, though. This is also going to be D-list movies, too. Again, none of their business or what it should be, just payment process. That's it. I can't imagine the person's like, I can't believe people are using credit cards to pay for porn. Like, what? Like, go back in your go back underneath your rock. If it wasn't for the porn industry, you wouldn't have Blu-rays. Just saying. Right? You wouldn't have the next stage of like technology, because that technology, right, explodes because of that. It pushes forward because of that stuff. Aku says 30. The problem is there's also so many shit parents that state takes care of their kids, even though the state is also shit. Robert Jones says GTA is also enough money to become their own payment processor. Epic could do the same thing with Fortnite, 100%. Aku says BlackRock isn't getting any more money from the feds, so they have to extort someone else. Interesting. We wouldn't have Endgame. That's right. Blu-ray exists to see blue avatar chicks. Actually, HD, during the time frame of, when they were choosing Blu-ray or HD, and they chose other one, Betamax is the same thing, Beta and VHS. The reason VHS won out, okay, is because of the porn industry. True story. Right? Eclipse says, why do you think streaming got so good? People don't like watching porn in non-HD. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's the porn industry brings in so much money, but people, they like this. They're like, nah, right? Everyone says the word, and everyone's like, oh, you're getting uncomfortable right now. There's people uncomfortable right now, right? They went from the like button to the unlike button because I said porn, okay? And the industry changes so many other industries because of it. Technology moves forward because of it. Aku says, why do you think VR is going to get more popular? Yeah, just that industry, Aku will keep VR always stable. Always stable. Right? Just that industry. You don't need billions of people, right? You don't need billions of people. There's a whole other industry that people don't understand and what they do. Right? Your information is what they want, by the way, now in the digital age. Right? So anytime you go on your phone or do anything, right, with your phone, if you ever look up that stuff on your computer, on your phone, anything, they basically extract your data, your information, and then they sell your information to other people. That's how they make money, on top of the other things that you buy or pay for. Right? Do you guys remember Girls Gone Wild during that whole period? Man, that guy became a multi-millionaire. And that was nothing. It was like playground stuff. It's a Yeah, hold on a second. Let me see. Joe Francis, net worth. This is the guy who, here, Girls Gone Wild franchise. 1997, background, Gone Wild. They filed for bankruptcy. But how much money did it make? That's what I want to know. The guy who started it, he's worth like $50 million. Girls Gone Wild made more than $20 million back in 1997, the first 2 years. By 2002, 83 titles within the series and airing 30-minute infomercials on all major U.S. networks. In 2005, the company planned to donate 100% of their gross sales to Mardi Gras-themed DVDs for Red Cross to help victims in hurricane. It doesn't say it's actual. It says in February 2012, Clark County, Nevada, awarded $7.5 million to a businessman. Statements also made. Yeah, these are lawsuits and stuff, criminal stuff. But during that time, it made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Right? And that was nothing. That was girls flashing the camera. Roick says the state I live in passed a law that you have to have register with the state before you can even buy or watch porn. You have to get like a license, like a fishing license. Is that what you're saying? Like you have to get a license, like a hunting license, like a fishing license. You got to get a porn license. Is that what you're telling me? That's crazy. I'm just thinking about that. Where do you go to get that? Where do you go to get that license? It's a website you have to register with. You have to pay anything? I don't know, House. I have no idea why. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to register. So basically, you have to. Can't you just use a VPN if you wanted to? There's always a way around stuff. Do you know what I mean? You know what would really sell? Good old magazines for that purpose. Good old magazines. You know the greatest security device ever was the red curtain. You know what I'm talking about. If you guys went to any of those places, it was that red curtain that you'd be like, as a kid, you'd be like, what's in there? What's in there? That's the greatest security ever. Hey, can't you read that sign? It says adults only. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was a red curtain. Now we have laws and things. You have to register. Like, what are we talking about? Z says back on the farm, young kids could always just drive their cars and tractors, etc. And they also came up with a driver's license. Soon there will be a license to use the internet. Probably. I wonder if only Blockbuster has that red curtain. Yeah, the one in the back for the rentals. That's exactly right. Yeah. Has anyone heard what Naked Gun's doing? Naked Gun, we talked about the other day, Travis. It had a pretty good weekend, but the budget for Naked Gun, it's going to lose money. So the budget for Naked Gun was like $42 million. So let's just say it's like $60 million with marketing. Let's say half of the marketing, right? So you have 40 million plus 20 million, $60 million. And right now they're at 30 million. They're at $30 million, which you would think is great, right? But the first week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is going to drop dramatically. This is going to drop 60%, 70% the second week. Even if it stayed at the exact same, this is going to lose money. At the end of its run, it might make 55, 60 million. It might make money barely. Right? And actually that's not even to make, that's just to make its budget back. So it won't make money at all. Because if it makes 60 million, they only make half of that. So they basically, this is what they'll make if they made it to 60 million. Right? So right now, if the budget's $42 million with no marketing, they got to get to 42. And even when they get to 42, that's only 20, 21, because they have to give 50% of the domestic to theaters and whatever else, and they have to give 70% to overseas. Right? The problem is that this movie should nowhere cost anywhere close to $40 million. Salty says, I watched Fantastic Four and Naked Gun on the same day. I wasn't impressed by Naked Gun. Hal says, Hollywood has an inflated budget problem. Yeah, same with gaming. Same with gaming. Has the exact same. You could look at gaming as making the same mistakes as films and TV. Just they're about 7 years behind. What's happening to gaming right now already happened to films, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and now we're catching up. I hear good things. So let's go to was it Rotten Tomato? I think Rotten Tomatoes got the pretty good for Naked Gun, if I can find it. Do they not have what hello? Where is it? How? Oh, okay. They don't even have it on the main page. How is that? How is that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's at a 90% reviewed, 75% fans. So it's around like a 77%. I'm sorry, 82%. Robert Jones says, we talked about it a lot. Hollywood folks came into gaming and tried to make it like Hollywood. Yeah. Yep. They invested over there, and now they came over here. And they're doing the exact same thing. Ray says, stop gooning online. Goon locally. Save the local club. All right, let's go to the next story, which is Starfield. Okay. Rumors Starfield could be adding highly requested ship features. Okay, if you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just go through a couple stories throughout the day, give you guys a couple hours throughout your day to get entertained. Are you not entertained? We just go over news stories, so hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. Okay. Rumor Starfield could be adding highly requested ship feature. Starfield may be revamping the interplanetary ship travel, the way the eliminates loading screens. According to some newly surfaced evidence, the purported addition of Starfield fans have been requesting for years has yet to acknowledged by Bethesda in any capacity. Okay. Calls for Starfield to offer maximal streamlined interplanetary travel has been circulating online long before the spacefaring RPG was even released in September of 2023. The game ultimately delivered a more traditional system requiring players to go through load screens whenever they traveled between different star systems or planets. The new Starfield update hints at a revamping ship travel. Bethesda may now be in the process of rethinking the mechanics. According to some, new evidence uncovered the modern while inspecting underlining contents of Starfield newly released on August 2025 update, the modder uncovered multiple references of cruise mode. Functionally, it appears that handle things like quest scripting or triggers for some utility functions, thank you, during interplanetary travel. As a current version of the game handles such travel via loading screens, these references suggest the developer could be preparing to introduce a real-time interplanetary navigation that could feasibly take advantage of the expanded cruise mode functionality. Okay. All that uncovered references the new cruise mode feature, were pulled from the Papyrus script source, the PSC files, which also store various game logic in Bethesda's proprietary of human-readable scripting language. Back in September of 2023, one presented fan demonstrated that traveling between two Starfield planets within the same star system was possible without loading screens. Though the process took dozens of hours due to vast interplanetary distances, one possible interpretation was also a new function. Also, Bethesda may introduce the system to accelerate in-game time, enabling faster interplanetary travel in these situations. In May of 2024, Starfield mod titled Arrowgate introduced a similar functionality, enabling immersive interplanetary travel without loading screens. This added was downloaded over 37,000 times from Nexus Mods and still receiving regular updates, in the latest patch arriving in early August 2025. While the newly uncovered scripting code suggests that Bethesda is exploring changes to Starfield interplanetary travel, the absence of the official announcement indicates that such plans are far from set in stone. The developer may also currently be testing the technical feasibility of the feature before deciding whether or not to implement it, and if it was the extent. In the meantime, fans continue to wait for news on the game's second major expansion, which has been also rumored for over a year now and also has not been officially confirmed. So there's also another story on top of this, right? So obviously, this feature was already in the game. A modder did it. So now they're saying they're going to put it into the regular game, which is kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird because a game like this, I'm a little confused, right? Because if the thing is already in the game through a mod and 37,000 people downloaded it, then there's no problem, right? I'm a little confused that if the thing is in the Bethesda shop for free, right? The mod, okay, the creation store, then why do they need to implement it in the actual game? I'm a little confused, right? If you're a player and you don't like the load screens and there's a thing already there to fix it for you, then why would you wait for the official release from the company when someone already created it already? It's not like it's going to be bug-ridden or whatever. They've been approved and they're put on the creation store, meaning it's worked. And if it doesn't work, then you wouldn't download it, okay? So I'm a little confused by that. Two, there was another story talking about Starfield that it's getting delayed to 2026 for PlayStation, okay? Actually, I think I have that story. Let me pull that up real fast. I think Krebsy put it in a couple days ago. Let me see. That's that one. Yeah, here it is. All right, so Starfield reportedly targeting PlayStation 5 release in 2026 following a week's sales of first expansion. Okay, I've said this. I said that they probably won't release the next expansion until it's coming out for PlayStation. Okay, and when it comes out for PlayStation, they would sell it as a whole bundle. So you would buy the game plus the 2 expansions for the price. If it gets delayed to 2026, it could be. But at the same time, there's no talks about it yet. And I've said on GXG, I've said on the morning show that Todd Howard himself has said that he would love to push something out with no marketing whatsoever within like 2 weeks. So if they say it to you and then 2 weeks later it pumps out, right? We saw this a little bit with other games, right? Shadow Drop for Microsoft as far as Hi-Fi Rush. We've seen it now with, what's it called? It just came out. Grounded. Grounded showed at the Game Awards, or I'm sorry, the Summer Game Fest. And then, 6 weeks later, 7 weeks later, it came out. Right, so that window, we've seen Todd in multiple interviews talk about, I would like to do it about 2 weeks or so. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening, right? But I can see them coming out with the expansion for the player base that they have right now, which would be Xbox and PC. And then down the road, when it does come out for PlayStation, if it's being delayed, maybe right now they have it and it's working fine for the Xbox and PC. They haven't said anything. Now they did say something in I think May, saying, "Hey, we have we have more news for you later this year," but they haven't said anything. Now we're in August, and the last, if I'm not mistaken, when did Shattered Space come out? Right, Shattered Space release date was when? September 30th. Okay, so right now we're in August, and I would assume if it was a 2-week period of time, if there's something coming up in the near future that they can announce it at or whatnot. Maybe they just put it out on Twitter. It doesn't really matter. Maybe sometime in August, we'll get something that says, hey, Starfield's coming out, and it'll come out for Xbox and it'll come out for PC for the second expansion. It probably won't come out for PlayStation until they get it all working correctly for the PlayStation or whatnot, and then they'll combine it all to get there. Now, it might not come out at all this year, but they said, their own words, now things get delayed and things change, but they said it came out in 2023, and they said they have a yearly expansion. A yearly expansion would say, hey, we have it, but then again, they also said it was coming out 11/11/2022, and it didn't come out then. It got pushed back to a year later in 2023. So, is it possible? Yeah, it is possible they could bring something out this year because they stated a year ago, 2 years ago, that they have a yearly expansion. So that yearly expansion could come out, but at the same time, this rumor saying that it gets pushed back into 2026 for PlayStation still makes sense because if it comes out for the system that it's already out for first, and then later it comes out for Starfield later. Now, do they charge $70, $80? Here's another thing. They raised the price of Outer Worlds 2, and they said, well, we're not going to raise the price until after the holiday season, so they lowered the price of Outer Worlds 2, and that's $70. Okay? Now, they could wait till after the holiday season, bring out Starfield on the actual PlayStation store, and that could be 70, but it could be 80 because now there's 2 DLCs. It's been 2 years after the fact. Starfield hasn't gotten to PlayStation yet, so 2 years. And then they've had the Shattered Space, and now they come out with a new expansion. So maybe, just maybe, they wait for all the expansions to be out, and then sometime in the summertime next year, they come out and say Starfield's coming out for PlayStation, maybe during the Summer Game Fest area type of thing. And then voila, maybe they announce at the Game Awards this year, and then it comes out sometime next year. Or maybe they announce it early next year, and it comes out in the summertime next year. And it's the whole entire game with the 2 expansions for $80, $70, $80. But who knows? Here's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. So let's see what you guys have to talk about, or what you guys think about the Starfield. One, with the ship traveling thing, what's already in the game, basically, by a modder. And then 2, is Starfield's second expansion coming out this year for at least Xbox and PC? And do you think that they're getting pushed back on the PlayStation until next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Let me know you're in the live chat as well. Water says, highly requested, but I thought no one plays Starfield anymore. I don't even know what they're playing. What is Starfield? I don't think there's a lot of people playing on PC. Starfield Steam charts right now. You got 4,124 people playing right now. 24-hour peak, 4,794. And then you have, so if we look at the max, obviously steep decline. This is September. By October, by January. So everyone that played the game wanted to play the game and tested it out, put it down on, right? But these are all purchases, by the way, right? 4 million people purchased it. Between 3 million and 4 million people purchased it on PC at $100 probably, because they probably got the early access period as well. So there's that, right? Then you have the people on Xbox. Then you have the people that didn't buy it, but paid an extra $30 to get the expansion, even though they didn't own the game. And then they got it for an additional $30. So they got that as well. So maybe they didn't make, let's just say they got another 4 million people that paid $30 a piece. That's an additional $60 if you take 2 people. So that's a price of a game, basically, right? So then cut that in half. So technically you have about 6 million people that paid $60, if not more. So 6 million sales, right? 6 million sales. And that, again, that's just general math, just speculation and whatnot. So it did well. It did well. Is it worth the money? Who knows, right? Let's see. Let's just do basic. Let's do basic math here, right? We know that they sold at least 4 million copies times $100, right? So that's $400 million, right? And they sold at least 2 million to 3 million copies on top of that, right? So that's an additional. So we're at 6 million copies, and then we have, let's say, I don't know what percent of people that have Game Pass that didn't buy the game, but they also purchased the DLC to get it 5 days early plus the expansion. Let's throw in, let's say, 4 million out of 30 million people paid $30. So we'll cut that in half. So that'll be an additional 2 million. So that's 8 million people, right? 8 million people, and we'll average the cost out. We'll average the cost out to an average, instead of $100 a person, we'll just do 65, okay, which is $520 million, $500 million for Starfield, the unsuccessful game, right? That's not including anybody else that happened to purchase it down the road or afterwards, and they don't really share the numbers, so we're doing very generalistic numbers here, but it made about $500 million in the unsuccessful game. Aku says, just PlayStation 5 players. And if they get another 3 million, 4 million sales at $80 now, right? That's another additional, 420 million, right? If they get 4 million people, 4 times 4 million. Let's say 4 million people buy it on PlayStation for all the expansions for $80. That's an additional $320 million for the unsuccessful game. Again, we don't know what they're going to sell, right? But I would assume that people that want to play it on PlayStation would probably buy it. Between 2.5 to 4 million people would buy it. Cruise mode, that's already in the game? Yeah, in a mod form. Dolphin. Eclipse says, until it's on PlayStation, then the sales numbers will be saying different. For how loud the PlayStation 5 guys talk, they also really, really want Starfield. Kind of ironic. Let's not misconstrue it, though, right? The fanboys say they don't want it, but the player base is much bigger than the people that are Sony ponies or Xbox, right? Much bigger. So these people, if you get 4 million of these people, because these people probably won't buy it at all. Maybe they will, right? But these people, out of the 75 million people that own a PlayStation, 4 million people are the ponies. And these 71 million people are people that just want to play games. Dolphin says, so speed up travel instead of load screens, but it'll take you longer to travel. So people won't complain, but it'll also take them longer to get to the destination. Got it. Yeah, it feels. Hey, I don't want a load screen. I want to sit there for 17 minutes, go from one planet to the other one interstellarly, okay? Roic says, this is just what to be an in-game option. Wow. Did that with a lot more of popular mods. They also just put it into the game, so you don't need the mod. Yeah, but does it matter if it's a mod or if they put it in the game? If you could download it off of their store, does it matter if they put it in the game? If you could put it in the game by just downloading a mod? They can now say the game officially doesn't have load screens for travel. That's actually a good point. It's actually a good point, Jones. You're right. They could then market it going, we, Bethesda fixed it. And they're like, oh, it's about time, right? El Nini says, I'm surprised the port isn't out already. Look, okay, why is it like this, El Nini? And I'm not saying you, but why do people have this in their mind where they're like, a PlayStation game comes over to Xbox, right? MLB The Show, and they're like, oh, it took them years to do that. Or Horizon coming to PC, it took them years to do that. And it's like it was a 2-year gap, and now it was an 18-month gap, and then it's going down to like a 14-month gap. Starfield has been now almost 24 months since it came out. Close, right? Close. And once it hits the 2 years, then they put it out on PlayStation. It's the exact same thing. They're putting it on the other platform as a third party, but they're also waiting that 24, 18, 14-month period before they put it on, right? Like Forza Horizon 5 was a 4-year-old game before they put it, 5-year-old game before they put it on PlayStation. Same with the other games, right? Now, there might be the new games that, like Gears E-Day or State of Decay 3 might come day and date. Who knows? But why is it that this port's not out yet and people are like, I'm surprised. Like, It's the same. It's like a 14-month to 2-month, or I'm sorry, 14-month to 2 years time frame before they port it over to the other system. 4,000. Skyrim has more than that. Oh, yeah. But you got to remember, a lot of people that play Skyrim, was it Skyrim? Is it Special Edition? Yeah, there's 20,000 people playing Skyrim right now. Right? 20,000 people playing Skyrim right now. But also the peak was 69,000. But look at this. How many people own Skyrim? Between 12.82 million and 18 million. Look, Bethesda's doing fine. Okay? Bethesda's doing fine. How do they monetize this? Okay? There's a lot of people playing that fucking game. Look at this. It's gone up. It's gone back up. It went up, then down, and then slowly over the years it's been going back up. That's because of modders. Might want to click on this one. There we go. There are more Bethesda fans than Sony ponies. Yes. 100%. 100%, Jones. Eclipse says, I think Sony and Xbox talked to each other and they planned their releases, and they don't think PlayStation is going to have anything big in the beginning of the year next year, so I think it also released then. I would say at a certain point, obviously as consumers, we look at this and say that they're enemies, they're like fighting each other, which they are, they're competitors. But at the same time, they're also the market, right? And the market decides what happens. And I think they do help and talk to each other 100%. Right? We made a joke about PlayStation calling up Rockstar and being like, "Hey, can you guys move that back a little bit? We got a big game coming out, and we can't go up against you," type of stuff. Ray says Starfield will do amazing on PlayStation, but it also needs a game on the disc. If only it also cry about it. Let's see here. Eleni says Stalker 2 is also coming to PlayStation 5. Yeah, but Stalker 2 wasn't a exclusive published. They gave them money and had the exclusive timing for them to their first. But that's not an Xbox exclusive or an Xbox Studio. Wait, 20K still playing Skyrim? Yeah. Yeah. How many people are playing Oblivion Remaster? I don't know. Let's see. Oblivion Remaster right now, 3,193. And it sold about 2 million copies. 1.73 million and 2.53 million. So the average, you know what I mean? So around 2 to 3 million people, or I'm sorry, around 2 to 2.5 million people bought it. And there's a yeah, see? Is this game dead? Is this game dead? This game's dead, bro. Fucking 216,000 people 4 months ago. I think people just like to hate on Bethesda because they know their games are good, but they're also bad. But we also love it. But we also hate it. Z says after they dropped it on PlayStation, hopefully they'll be able to see how many people they actually bought the games and compare it to the Ubisoft games. Look, everyone, I don't know why people think this, right? They took 10 years, took a shot with the space RPG, okay? They did this with other games like Fallout and, Skyrim type of stuff. And this is their brand new IP, and everyone thinks they're abandoning it. In no way, shape, or form do I think they're abandoning Starfield. If anything, they would make the next Starfield 2. But I think all hands on deck, right? They have a small team probably working on the expansion passes and stuff for Starfield. They're still making money. If they didn't abandon Fallout 76, they're not abandoning Starfield. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't abandon Fallout 76. The thing came out, it wasn't even a game. It was like a thought of a game. They released it. It was broke, buggy, unfinished, unstable. It was terrible state. Right now, it's like Millions of people play this game monthly across all the platforms. Okay? They're making tons of money off of Fallout 76. Starfield is a single-player game. They sold somewhere around, with the people that bought it early, with the people that bought the expansion without buying the actual game on Game Pass, right? Just take the money and then divide that. They sold about 6 to 8 million copies of that game. That game's successful. As everyone thinks it's not successful, it's successful. They're going to continue doing Starfield down the road, but their next game is Skyrim. The next Skyrim is the next big game, right? They have multiple franchises. They have multiple things. This is why Microsoft picked them and not Destiny, or I'm sorry, Bungie, okay? Because they have more IPs to work with. They're not abandoning Starfield. If anything, they're just taking their time. They're like, yeah, it was pretty successful. It was a good go for what it was. We made our money on it, but let's move on to something that we know we're going to make a shit ton of money with, right? They could do anything. They could keep it on the back burner, right? Remember, Starfield is a single-player game. Single-player game. It's not a multiplayer game. It's not a live service game, really. It's just there. And the creation engine's there for people, or the creation store is there for people to do mods and whatnot. Everybody wants this game to, like, fail. It didn't fail. Altered says Xbox has been releasing their games in the front of the year. Most of their ports are also coming in May. Rogue says Skyrim's numbers have go up because mods, and they have released it about 10 times. Clip says, I can't wait for Sky Oblivion. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I just saw a video the other day. I didn't see it. I saw it pop up in my stream or in my feed. Let me bring this up. Is it Sky Oblivion? Is it one word? Sky Oblivion, right? ESO just had a thing about it. Let's see. Final stretch for Sky Oblivion. Let's see here. That's 3 months ago. That's 5 days ago. More than a remaster. Here.
Sky Oblivion is releasing this year if everything goes to plan. But why should you care? You've probably already sunk hours into the official Oblivion Remastered with its beautiful updated graphics. So why would you bother checking out Sky Oblivion, the fan-made mod version? Well, a lot of people don't seem to understand that Sky Oblivion is actually a complete remake of Oblivion, not just a remaster. And it was also made by fans of the series, not a third-party external studio. Let me explain exactly what that means and
what— You're getting the same game again. Instead of the Oblivion remaster, you're getting a fan-made Sky Oblivion with the updated graphics of the current gen.
What you can expect from this remake. Starting with the locations, the world of the original Oblivion and also Oblivion Remastered was pretty generic. All the forts and inns all looked identical to one another, so after you've seen a few of them, they all really look exactly the same. And the dungeons also use the exact same tile set. But in Sky Oblivion, they've completely remade all of the forts. So you now have these castles that blend into the landscape and you can go inside them and—
Do you know what you're going to see here? You're going to see more people playing Sky Oblivion than the Oblivion Remaster on PC, right? About 3,000 people are playing the Oblivion Remaster. You're going to see 10 times that amount of people playing the Sky Oblivion on PC.
There's actually things to explore before you enter the actual dungeon itself. Same with the caves, and just the general landscapes have been completely redone from scratch. And the difference is truly night and day. There's also going to be entirely new locations that you'll be visiting that you've never seen before and were cut from the original game, but are still lore-friendly and fit in. Some of the existing locations have even been
just like the Fallout that they did in London, and what was the other one they did, right? Like, these fans, man, are just crazy what they do with it.
Expanded with new dungeons that are actually unique. The cities have also been enhanced.
It says it's dropping this year, Water, but we don't know for sure.
with new shops and clutter to make them feel lived in. And obviously, because it's Skyblivion instead of Oblivion, it's a mix of Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. So that means that the combat from Skyrim is going to be used along with its magic system and the health bars and everything. It's been Oblivionized, but it's still very much that awesome Skyrim combat system that a lot of us love. And that probably means that a lot of our combat mods will work as well if you want to customize it. And of course, the follower system from Skyrim is also being used, because I don't know about you, but the one in Oblivion just feels so lackluster compared to the one in Skyrim. Another thing that I found really lacking in the original game was the roleplay decisions. But Skyblivion has apparently addressed this by adding deeper character choices that fit with different character backgrounds. So I'm curious to see exactly what this means. And all of the unique weapons, armor, and clothing have been redesigned from the ground up. And they've even made race-specific armor for Khajiits and Argonians. So subscribe if you want to see our Khajiit playthrough, because my goodness, I cannot wait to actually have some armor.
I just wanted to show you his video. I didn't watch it. I'm going to watch it myself later. But I'll put this in the description down below. Right? We'll take ESOs and put it in the description. Let me do that right now, so you guys can go watch it. ESO, and then we'll take this. So if you guys want to watch this video and you're interested in Skyblivion, you can go check that out in the description down below as well. Yeah, it's crazy to me that 2 remasters basically of the same game coming out in the same year. One fan-made, one by the main company, but with a third party doing it. Right? Pretty insane. Pretty insane. Let's see. Can you tell these were real fans who made this game? Yeah. And look, I love companies, or not companies. I love people that are not companies, that are just fans, right? Like, I would love if someone did a remaster fan made of Star Wars Galaxies. Now, Star Wars Galaxies is out there. Like, you can play it, but it still looks like the old graphics. If someone could take that game and do graphics of like Star Wars Battlefront, I wouldn't play a real game again. I would play that fan-made game. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's how good it is. Like, I don't care if it's made by a real player or real company or whatnot. If they made Star Wars Galaxies with Star Wars Battlefront 2 graphics, forget about it. I would never play another game. I would play that game and that game only. I would support what I like, and that's what I would like. Jason says, Ray, if you're going to release a game on disc, then put it on there in full. Otherwise, don't charge me a full price for a boot disc. Yeah. That's why a lot of people don't like where the industry is going with that stuff. Yeah, you can tell these also were real fans who also made this game. Art style is so good. It reminds me of the paint style of the old Oblivion. Have you seen Dragon's Dogma online? They also have made that game look almost as good as Dragon's Dogma 2. No, I have not. We have one more story, I think, that we didn't talk about, which is talk about the EA president, talk about the other IPs and stuff that they're doing. Waterbear says there's a fan-made Jedi game featuring Ahsoka. It looks badass, too, if I also find it again. Not sure if they were also finished with it. Put it in Discord. Put it in Discord when you find it, Water. If I don't watch it on the stream today, we can look at it later. All right. The last story I want to talk about is EA Entertainment president on Battlefield 6 release date, Sims movie, and multiplayer game update, and balancing owned IPs with Star Wars and Marvel titles. Okay. So Electronic Arts revealed Thursday that it's eagerly anticipating Battlefield 6 will be released October 10th, as a larger gaming community is sure to clock the portion of the calendar was previously penciled in for Grand Theft Auto 6, right? And I've had a speculation of, obviously, this game was not supposed to come out this year. Battlefield 6 was not supposed to come out this year. Grand Theft Auto 6 was supposed to take that place, be there. But once they moved it, they were like, we got to get this out. We got to get this out. I wouldn't be surprised if we heard developers after, once it releases and it does whatever it does, that we get people talking about how we got pushed out the door. Here's how this works, okay? If Battlefield 6 comes out and there's no problems, we'll never hear about it. But if Battlefield 6 struggles in any way, shape, or form, we will have articles of people talking about how they were on crunch time, how they were pushed out the door before it was ready. You won't know about this stuff until later down the road, right? But as of right now, it's all beautiful. Okay, game looks amazing at the event. People are hyped up about it. They're pushing it out the door. Okay, and that's what it is. But EA Entertainment president Laura says that a lot of the thought went into exactly when to launch the expansive next chapter of Battlefield franchise, well before Take-Two Interactive's Rockstar had moved the game out of the slot to next May. Okay, I'm sure, considering they said in a leaked document or whatever that they said that they were going to potentially push it back before April of 2026, right? It says, we have always, what the fuck is this? We have always been heads down, unblinking about the fall and executing the level of excellence, okay, in the variety of Thursday. Head of a recent announcement. So really work hard for our team with ourselves candidly are not getting distracted by the time it's... Wait, did I miss... No, we got it. Wait, is this it? Okay. Take-Two Rockstar. Sorry about that. Not to get distracted by the way it was what's happening around us, but we always said that within all of us our investment, with all of the potential of this franchise, we would like not to have put it on the harm's way, and we would not have put it out there in a blast radius of something really large. So we had our eyes on it, and for sure, we were thinking about the scenarios, but we were also pretty unblinking, and we weren't allowing ourselves to play the what-if game if the schedules of development were also like, no, we have to get this thing this done because the opportunity is so big and the potential is so significant for our company. But Battlefield 6 is far from the only thing Laura was also talking about these days, okay? So I just want to back that up a little bit. Let me read that again, right? We've always have been heads down, unblinking about this fall, executing at a level of excellence. Okay, Variety Thursday ahead of Battlefield 6 release announcement. So we were all working hard within our team, within ourselves, candidly, not getting distracted by what's happening around us. But we also said that within all this investment, the potential of this franchise, we also not have put it in harm's way, but we'd not have to put it out in a blast radius of something really large. So we had our eyes on it for sure, and we're also thinking about the scenarios. But we're also pretty unblinking that we weren't allowing ourselves to play a what-if game if the schedules of the development were like, no, we have to get this done because the opportunity is so big and the potential is so significant is for the company. If Grand Theft Auto 6 was coming out this year, this game was not coming out. If Grand Theft Auto 6 was scheduled for November, this was definitely not coming out in October. No way, no shot. Okay. I would assume that a lot of people talk. A lot of people know what's going on. We didn't know about Grand Theft. It was never announced that Grand Theft Auto was coming out in 2025. It was rumored that Grand Theft Auto was coming out in 2025. Everybody was waiting, bated breath of what's happening with Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay? And did I say 5? I meant 6, right? Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay? Everyone was waiting for them to say what's happening with this game, and they didn't. No one said anything. Everyone was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they announced Grand Theft Auto 6 is getting pushed back to May 26th, and then miraculously, Battlefield was like, oh, shit, full steam ahead. I did hear a bunch of other content creators that played Battlefield 6 talking about how they've been in the playtest for the last 2 months, and they said they ramped it up, and they said they started playing games and whatnot. So 2 months ago, right, we're the end of July, so May is when they started ramping up the playtesting in Battlefield Labs. Okay, people said they played it 4 months ago. Some people play it, right? So they were testing it out and pushing it through. But they said they took a real big, from what they played in May to what they played at the end of July. They said they made huge changes. Okay, swathing changes is what one of the guys said, and that it was a completely different build. And what they played, okay, was a completely different build than what they played at the game thing. So what they looked at and said, this is even better than that. Okay, so I get all hands on deck, 4 studios working with Battlefield, and now they're pushing it out. I just hope Battlefield, DICE LA, Vance Impella, EA, I hope you have a rock-solid game, man. I really do. I want to love this game. I want to play this game. As of right now, I'm at the not buying period. That's before I play one frame of it. When I play this weekend, I'll let you know, but I'm still not buying it day one. Even if it's the greatest game I've ever played, I'm not buying it day one. I'm not buying it week one because I think your servers are going to explode. And I hope I'm wrong about it. Okay? But Battlefield 6, it says, also remains largely mum, very teasing of the upcoming multiplayer offering. The Sims franchise, Laura confirms now, represents one of the biggest growth opportunities in Electronic Arts moving forward, and the team is hard at work furiously developing the multiplayer platform is going to be. Okay, it says what we're doing is upgrading and refreshing the technology. We've also been adding modes to play, but we also are going to create update on the base technology and base user experience for the core game. There's a whole underground thing what's happening with The Sims. A lot of people are pushing back on what's happening with The Sims. I know they're making a movie and stuff about it now, but they're talking about how they chop up a whole bunch of stuff and it's still broke and buggy. So the community that plays The Sims is kind of upset about it. But that's like a whole underground thing that's happening. So multiplayer capabilities are also going to have mobile expressions of this for doing cozy games as well. For more of that, we did release the Nintendo on cozy games in Asia for The Sims. I see The Sims significant ecosystem and universal multiplayer Sims experience. We'll also have to build on that. While other fans are expressed disappointment in the game, it isn't going to traditional sequel game route of The Sims 5. Laura maintains that this is also the best for the larger community of Simmers. It says, what I wouldn't want to have to happen is you have to start from day zero, to start from scratch and give up all the things that you've had created, give up all the content that you've purchased over the years. We put out over 85 content packs. Think about that, 85 content packs for 10 years. You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to play The Sims. For resetting, it's not also player friendly and not a good idea for our community. EA's biggest trans-media project in the moment is upcoming Sims the movie from Amazon MGM Studios and Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap, which also finally is a right creative partnership for the film. Laura says that the team is also talking about for years and years and years that the Sims video game franchise celebrated its 25th anniversary this year. EA is currently considering significant opportunities in tie-ins with the Sims game upon release of the Sims movie. Please don't do a Fortnite like mashup with the Sims. Just don't do that. Where we sit today, though, technology perspective, innovation of perspective, and also perspective. Moment also we can actually co-create content in multiplier for each of the others, and also great experience for the fans. Laura also is going on to full circle and so fulfilling to bring the content linear way to interactive way simultaneously, and even have to adapt the fans and how the things are going. Okay, so regarding the potential adaptation of Apex Legends franchise for TV or film, would you guys watch an Apex Legends television show or film? Like, what would that be? Now, I understand Apex Legends takes place in the Titanfall universe, right? But what are they doing there? Like, I don't know how they would... is it taking place within the Battle Royale? Is it going to be like a series, sort of like what's that? The Running Man, like a game show type of thing that you're in there and trying to survive. Like, what would they do? So it says also the backstory and history of there's also rich worlds and rich history within the characters of these legends. They also come to life through linear media and partnerships. Adding, it's pretty motivated to do that. It's also doing it in a way it really respects and upholds the brand for the franchise. Is there a lot of lore? Is there a lot of lore for Apex Legends? I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not trying to blow it off. I'm asking. Like, I understand again what the lore's in, but is there a lot of lore behind the characters? I don't know. Following the cancellation of EA's plan for Black Panther game this May, questions have arisen about the publisher's plans and upcoming license and games. According to the president, EA's current slate tied to Disney and Marvel IPs include upcoming Star Wars Jedi 3, which I think we knew about, right? But be wary about that because the guy who created the first two has left the studio. Game developer Respawn, large-scale mobile title Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, MMO Star Wars The Old Republic, as well as the Iron Man video game, and the new a few others that haven't been announced yet. Okay, so all about maintaining a real strong balance of portfolio while the EA's future is massive online communities. So as we're talking about The Sims and Apex and Battlefield and Skate, these are significant investments, they said. There's significant time and energy and focus on these are right, and these are also the platforms right. We're also doing new things in the massive online communities, so when they also assess our resources or priorities of our team, I think we're striking the right balance of investing this in the big online communities of EA brands and IP. We're also partnering with the incredibly rich, amazing IPs for action RPGs category, and still really strong within the quite confident in our ability to execute in the space. So there you go. So EA's got a bunch of different stuff going on. In my last video that I uploaded over on this channel, talking about the trust okay, about the trust of EA, about is Battlefield 6 getting overhyped, or do I have trust issues? In that video, I have trust issues with Battlefield 6, right? But it's also overhyping it. But inside that video, I talk about how EA has actually turned it around, right? Obviously, they have Veilguard and stuff like that didn't do very well, but they broke up the company 2 years ago, okay? And Veilguard was before they broke up the company. They split up into sports at EA Entertainment, and they've been working on it and hired the right people. Since Battlefield 2042 failed, they brought in Vince Zampella from the successful Respawn and all the other games that he's brought in with Call of Duty and whatnot, but that his resume is on, right? They brought him in to fix that. This is the fruits of their labor right now, right? Battlefield 6 can come out and be one of the best games ever created for Battlefield series, and another win for Vince Zampella. So they brought him in, right? They've taken other steps to bring other people in to make games for them in the background, and maybe they took risks with Avium and what other ones they had. I forget the other one that they did, right? But they've taken other risks with other games. And look what they've done with Split Fiction. Split Fiction is a EA published game. Okay, they've taken risks with other games with Take-Two, Split Fiction, Joseph, I forget his name, Joseph, I forget his last name, but you know who I'm talking about, right? They've taken risk and put people in and making pretty good games for EA. Forget about Madden for a second. Forget about FC for a second. They have made some really good single-player games on EA's side. There's been failures as well, but for the most part, it seems like they've turned the boat. And will it succeed? Who knows? But they've done pretty good job with some of the games they've had. Everyone likes Jedi Fallen Order, Survivor. They liked, okay. And we'll see what happens in the future with the Star Wars franchise, with Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi 3, whatever they're going to call it, or any other of the Marvel titles if the Iron Man game comes out, right? But we'll see. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think Battlefield 6 moved it up instead of pushing it back because of GTA 6? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about The Sims and the movies and everything else, and what do you think about Apex Legends? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Where's the fighting game with Star Wars characters? Oh, they have Galactic Heroes. Is that what it's called? On mobile? There is actually a game where, like, they fight. I forget which one it is. That one's not the one I'm thinking of, but there's another one. Altern says, I think February for March. It was the original release date. Yeah, I think they were going to push it to February or March. Robert Jones says the Sim players haven't migrated to Izzo yet. They only have lore. Ain't no story. Interesting. Argus says, I'm back. Have you guys been playing hard mode games while I was gone? No. Albany says, do you need PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live to play Battlefield Online, or is this a tactic to get the subs this weekend? I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Ray says the Battle Royale doesn't need paid online. Doesn't need pay online. I'm not sure about that. I would assume that if you're buying EA game, you have to have online functionality to play that game, I would assume, right? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a sub tactic or not, Albany. Soul Calibur was that one where they had the bonus where if you got like Yoda on PlayStation or is it Yoda was on Xbox and Darth Vader was on PlayStation and stuff like that. Eclipse says you shouldn't since it's open beta, but you might need it. Right. For open beta, no. But I think when the game comes out, I think you would need it, right? Argus says non-free-to-play games require online subscription generally. Right. We're talking about Soul Calibur now? We're not. Robert Jones was saying where's the fighting Star Wars game, basically. Like Soul Calibur where they had some characters in there. I forget the other guy. It was Yoda, Vader, and what was the third one? And the other guy. Sarge says that the math still doesn't math, bro. They had said that Battlefield 6 early 2026, and now everything's fine to release in a month. How? Well, 2 months, right? October. So they got 8 weeks. Was it Link? Was it the third? Wasn't there a third Star Wars character in there, or no? Yoda was Xbox. Vader was PlayStation. Link from Zelda. Oh, right. It was Link from Nintendo. It wasn't a third Star Wars character. Right. Thank you, Ford. No, it wasn't Starkiller. It was Link. They're 100% right. I don't think it was from Force Unleashed. It was one from each. It was one from each of the thing. Link was Soul Calibur 2. All right, let's look this up. Hold on. It was Starkiller. So it says Soul Calibur 4, Star Wars universe represented by the guest characters Darth Vader, Yoda, and his apprentice, also known as Starkiller from Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Darth Vader and Yoda were on the console exclusives initially, but then were later released to downloadable content for both platforms. The apprentice, the prominent character from The Force Unleashed, is unlockable on both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions. So there you go. I never played the game, so I just remember the advertisement for it. Point for chat. Holtern says they're going down the rabbit hole. And slightly. We peaked. We peaked in the rabbit hole. We didn't go down the rabbit hole. We didn't go. I mean, maybe. All right. Oh, where I landed, I do not know. Should I fall down the rabbit hole? We did go down the rabbit hole. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Argus says, I didn't know we were talking about specific Soul Calibur or specifically Star Wars characters. I wasn't looking at the chat. Yeah, we were talking about Star Wars characters. Because we were talking about a fighting game, like a Star Wars fighting game. Jones is like, where's the Star Wars fighting game? I said, I think there is a Star Wars fighting game, but then I remembered it was Soul Calibur, and it wasn't actually a standalone fighting game. Yeah, why isn't there like a Mortal Kombat Star Wars game? That'd be pretty cool, right? Didn't they make one? Hold on a second. We are going down the rabbit hole now. There was a game. Yeah, there was a game. Force Combat. Let's check it out. Is this a real game? Or is this a mod? Hold up.
Force Combat is a Star Wars fighting game made by Last Jawa. The amount of content in this game is honestly insane. There are so many characters and like 25 million skins for every character, and Indiana Jones is there. Oh, he's got the staff. Oh, crap. Oh, he's got the staff. That's pretty good. And he's got a handgun. Oh, my God. He's got an MP40. Indiana Jones is the best character in the Star Wars game. The main modes are Path of the Force, in which you pick your guy and then fight a randomly generated selection of Star Wars characters from the TV shows and the movies and the EU material. Who knows what kind of canon-destroying battles you're gonna have.
It is not my time to die.
That's where you're wrong, Purple Satil Shan. Kick.
I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was a thing.
Kick. Oh, crap. It's not working. Now's a good time to mention that I never play fighting games. It's a genre that I have zero knowledge of at all, which is a good excuse for getting killed on the first fight of easy mode by Rip-Off Basila. Is there a tutorial I can play? I'm kind of scared of Satil here. Okay, well. Let's try training mode. Training mode might be helpful. Okay, Darth Vader, staying still. I gotta train on you. Let me train my moves. My training consists of kicking Darth Vader in the crotch 100 times. Then I'll be ready to master the Force. There are also movie and TV towers in which you play through the events of a movie or show in chronological order, and they are very fun. Let's try light side prequels. So am I supposed to lose to Darth Maul? Am I supposed to get killed because I'm Qui-Gon Jinn? I don't remember Qui-Gon fighting this well. He didn't have these kind of cool moves. If Qui-Gon had these kind of moves, he wouldn't have died. He would have won no problem. Wow, Darth Maul on easy mode is no
I think that's true. Yeah, I think if Qui-Gon had these moves, he wouldn't have died.
Match for Qui-Gon. As the Clone Wars begin, Obi-Wan and Anakin face Count Dooku. I always forget that this duel even happened. I'm like, oh yeah, there was that scene in Attack of the Clones where they fight. I forgot about that completely. My powers haven't changed.
The first time we saw Yoda pull out his little lightsaber and start freaking out on people.
At all since last we met, Count. Good, I guess. Same amount of pride, similar fall. How does it feel, Count? I've bested you. Oh, wait, never mind. I'm dead. Here I am, to put you down for the count. Use the jump I must. Ha-ha.
Wait a minute.
I'm dead.
Here I am, bolt went over his
to
head.
Put you down for the count.
Yoda doesn't even get touched by that. What a waste of a move.
Use the jump I must. Ha-ha. Attack your knees I will. Found your weakness. I have. Stop it, Yoda. My knees, my old man knees. I can't take it. Master Yoda, do you mind just like jumping around to head levels?
All right. Well, there you go. So there was a game. There was a game. Let me put this in the chat as well, or in the description. Because every time we look at something, we gotta give credit where credit's due. So, what is this guy's name? Never even heard of him. He's got 300,000 subscribers. Good for you. Good for you. There you go. Check out his video down below if you want to watch more of that. I guess that counts. I mean, you asked for a Star Wars fighting game. There it is. Force Combat. Let's see when it came out. Force Combat Beta. This was September 8th of 2024. So it's on Patreon. So it's from a studio, but it's a studio that the latest version of Star Wars fighting game, Force Combat Beta version, has been released to the public. You can download the link. I'm not going to post a link, but you can go do that. So you can literally go play this game. So it's like a fan-made. It's a fan-made one. Still a game. You asked for a Star Wars fighting game, we found it. And it's about a year old. We're just waiting for a Star Wars dating sim. Let me see if I can find that for you. Let me see if I can find that for you. Let's see. Let's see. Well, there's a video, not a game. There's a video. There is a thing out there. It's called Order 99, a Bad Batch dating game. Hold on a second. Someone created it. It's not. Oh boy. That's an actual screenshot. That's an actual screenshot. Okay. Order 99. A Bad Batch. I'm not kidding. Someone created a game. Look at that, Altern. See what happens. You asked for it. It's here. It exists. Are you sure it's not Order 69? It says 99. Right? There's the Bad Batch game. Like, We wanted a Bad Batch game like Helldivers or Division 2. Instead, we get a dating sim. For fuck's sake. What is happening? What is happening? Do we have the... what is happening here? Fortnite. Fortnite's got this... Do they show the battle pass and stuff? No. I'm going through Twitter real fast. Secure boot is required to play Battlefield 6 on PC, and here's how to enable it. Nope. Nope. Can't play it. Sorry. It's too hard for me to do, and my motherboard won't let me play it. Way to kill it. Way to kill it, Battlefield. I'll be interested to know how many Battlefield players for Battlefield 6 can't play the beta because of secure boot. Because they have older PCs. I would love to know how many. We will find out shortly. I'm sure we'll talk about it. What in the world is this? What is this, chat? Barbie Field. Barbie Horse Trails is launched in the same day as Battlefield 6. Who do you think is going to have bigger numbers? Horse Trails or Battlefield 6 on October 10th? Well, no, what I'm saying, Water, is how many people are not going to be able to play it because they have an older system? Hold on, I want to see what this game is for a second. Just we got to see it. Oh, this looks right up Dave. Dustin, this is a game for you, man. This is right up your alley. This is a cozy game. Cozy game right there. You can take pictures. Oh, man. You could ride horses. You can explore. You can watch, take care of your horses. This is Game of the Year material right here. Game of the Year material. How much you want to bet if Lyric played this instead of Battlefield, he would have more people watch this? Just saying. Just saying. We found Dustin's game. Yeah, it's perfect. Right up his alley. We kid. We kid. What else we got here? What else do we have on some Twitter before we end the show here? Anything else? Co showed off his Amberville game that he has, that he's co-producing. I think he's funding it or whatever. WoW's housing system is coming earlier, but only if you pre-order. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow, I guess, huh? Is that even is that a link? That's not a link. Let's see. Is this gonna pop up in the thing? No, that's not a link. That is not a link. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. That's the link. Okay. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys can also submit stories. If anyone can join our Discord. You can join in the general, or you can be part of the submitted stories. If you want to be in any part of the other parts of the Discord, you have to be a member. Once you're a member, though, you're always a member, unless you do something stupid. So, former BioWare producer details what went wrong with Anthem. Oh, okay. Well, we'll put that in the system as well. Talk about that tomorrow. What went wrong with Anthem? We didn't finish the game. Short article. I didn't read the article. I just said that. I just said that. GTA 6 doesn't need to cost $100 because GTA Online is the real cash cow. Okay, that's a thing from GameSpot. We can put that in for tomorrow's stories. Get a lot of stories going on here. Oh, that's pretty good. Finally, dinos are being added to Flight Sim. The fuck? Who asked for that? Who asked for that? I mean, I guess I get it. But is that a thing we were wanted? Did people really asking for that? What could have gone wrong with Anthem? I don't know. 1,000 things, right? Alternate also says GTA 6 can charge $30 and also still make their money back within GTA 6 Online. 100%. I mean, we did have that conversation. If GTA came out at $60, it would break the internet. It would break the internet. They're showing some Gearbox stuff. Oh, they're showing some characters now for Borderlands 4. Sorry. All right. I think that'll do it. I think we're good. We'll be back tonight for Shooting the Shit with Sarge. We'll probably play some more Grounded tonight, or Grounded 2, I should say. If you guys want to come out, hang out with us over on 30 and Still Gaming, make sure you come on over there. That's a completely different channel. So if you don't know about that, come on over to 30 and Still Gaming. We'll be live again tomorrow morning on Thursday edition of the Daily Grind. And then also tomorrow evening, the Generation X Gaming Podcast. Another week already down. So episode 451 tomorrow evening. We also have another channel called Nerding with 30 where we do other talks about entertainment and whatnot. I have a couple uploads there. Don't forget to check out some of the other uploads that we have on this channel. Appreciate it very much. Make sure you also check out our album called Perk Up and Press Play. All the music that plays before the podcast is an album that I created through AI, and also I wrote it all. Music is created by Suno, and they're fun. They're fun. It's another way you can help support the channel. You can either stream it or download them. I appreciate it very much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
So Frank is standing tall, a king upon the field. The hype was real, the trailers made the fans believe and feel. But then came the launch, oh what a bit of fight. A broken game, a shattered name, left stranded in the night. No scoreboard, no classes, just chaos in the storm. Promises of glory, but the game was far from norm. Oh, the maps were wide, but the hearts were small. Battlefield 2042, how could you let us fall? Servers refunds made the headlines loud. Players left for other games, no cheering in the crowd. DICE promised updates, but the damage was done. A shadow of its legacy, where was the fun? Hazard zones forgotten, breakthrough broke apart. Portal had the promise, but couldn't find its heart. But now they're teasing the next big thing.